Yeah. We're missing second.
Yeah, but that was another. This is another one? Oh, this is another one.
The other guy that has the tax break said back up in the loop.
Economic development, we haven't met since our last meeting.
We met.
Dan's here, right?
Yes, Bill, I mean, are we gonna give it to everyone that builds a new house? And the value went up 35%. If that's a loophole, if, you know, that's able to be done.
What's that? Call a meeting to order for Tuesday, October 18th. Be Town Council. Start first with salute to the flag. Roll call.
Mayor Duty,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin,
Here.
Councilor Angeloni,
Here.
Councilor Arman,
Here.
Councilor Candelora,
Here.
Councilor Diamond,
Here.
Councilor Manna,
Here.
Councilor Miller,
Here.
Councilor Rose.
Here.
Approval of minutes of October 4th, 2016, Water Pollution Control and Town Council.
So moved. Second.
Any corrections? Roll call.
Mayor Duty,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin,
Yes.
Councilor Angeloni,
Yes.
Councilor Arman,
Yes.
Councilor Candelora,
Yes.
Councilor Diamond,
Yes.
Councilor Manna,
Yes.
Councilor Miller,
Yes.
Councilor Rose.
Yes.
Okay, approval of September 20th, 2016, revised special Water Pollution Control Authority and regular Town Council meeting.
We approved these at the last meeting, the September 20th minutes.
This is just the
think they're
correction.
revised.
It's just
Yeah.
revised, it was revised. There was
But
some-
then how did we approve them last month then if these are revised?
We approved them subject to correction, and I assume these are the corrections.
Correct.
Yeah.
So,
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Mayor Duty,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin,
Yes.
Councilor Angeloni,
Yes.
Councilor Arman,
Yes.
Councilor Candelora,
Yes.
Councilor Diamond,
yes,
Councilor Manna,
Yes.
Councilor Miller,
yes,
Councilor Rose.
Yes.
I wasn't at the September 20th meeting, so I'll abstain. Okay, we'll move into the regular Town Council meeting agenda. First is reports of committees, boards, and commissions. Permanent Project Building Committee.
That committee is not meeting due to there's no projects with them right now, so maybe we can just suspend that from the agenda until we send something to them.
Okay, thank you. Next is Economic Development Commission.
No meeting.
Next is Park and Recreation Commission.
next meeting is the 25th.
Police Commission.
As the police commission met last Monday, they interviewed for a new policeman. They had 2 applicants, and I just heard today that one has withdrawn, so they only have 1 applicant. They received quotes for a fence repair for the rear of the police facility. It's on the agenda, so I won't discuss that. They talked about the antenna repair, which had taken place. There was still some checking and testing to be done. The dispatch center update is moving along. They have received 1 new vehicle. The second one's supposed to be coming in. It may already be in it, because last week they said it was probably gonna come in this week. And they are going to, the police commission is gonna conduct interviews for the lieutenant position on November 3rd.
Okay, just a question. And the cars they're turning in, those are going to the Public Works Department?
Well, my understanding is that the K-9 car is in really bad shape, and that's definitely one that's gonna be replaced, and I believe that the police commission talked about trading in that car number 9.
I don't think, I'm not sure, but sure they never traded cars in before, they always went through the town. So,
Yeah, I think that's my understanding, unless something's changed, that they come, they have the opportunity to be evaluated, Public Works, and then come offline to
Town hall.
Town Hall.
Yeah.
And then Mike,
But-
I'd have to ask you to check on that, because that was what I heard them say, they were gonna be trading that one in.
Okay, yeah, I can follow up on that. It was just one vehicle?
Well, right, but they're gonna,
Okay. That was,
but, you know, right now, they have 7 cars that are over 100,000 miles. This will give them at least 2 new ones, one of which they'll use for the K-9, which is, I guess, in very bad shape. We're making some switches.
so, Mike, since we're in the police department anyways, our police commission, I talked to somebody that says we are pumping out the police facility septic system monthly.
yeah, I think you're right. I think it's monthly or every other month potentially, but I think they're doing it on a frequent basis.
Because I know there's new plumbing systems that will address probably the problems that they have. And I spoke to Al earlier, and he has a few
Yeah, I think
suggestions.
that, I think that if, I think what we need to do is, and we can dump it on Franny, have him, go and, look at this, pumping a system, they're just throwing their money away. The only time you would pump a system every month is if your system was failed and you needed to take the water out to, make room for more water. He put the galley system in there that should be big enough for 2 or 3 of those buildings. And by pumping it every month, you're not allowing it to work properly. Septic, they're
Bacteria.
alive. They need the bacteria, they need to, in the winter, they need to make heat so they don't freeze. And, so pumping it not only is it expensive, but it's just, doesn't make sense. So I think that, if we could give Franny direction to look into that and come up, and I know they were talking about the pressure for the water, could be some of the problem why the toilets don't shut off and they run constantly. So I think that it's certainly within his capability to get to the bottom of it and report back to us in a couple weeks.
So these repairs have not been made yet, but,
Right,
yeah.
right. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
I know, I was at a meeting there recently during the day, and it had backed up, and it was horrible. The odor was horrible in that building, and I was in the conference room, and they had aired it out, but you could still tell.
So what backed up?
They told me it was the septic that backed up, and I'll tell you, they had opened up all the windows in the conference room because there was gonna be a meeting, and you could still tell.
So they
you know.
told you that, but so.
I'm
we
not,
had-
I'm not
we
an
had-
expert on that.
We
They just
had
said to me-
water, we had, effluent coming back into the building. I mean, that would be a backup.
I mean, Franny would know about
I-
that if it backed up.
It was a sewer gas,
A sewer gas.
so I don't.
So here's the other problem with sewer gases, and I run into this in, every big house that I have that has 5 or 6 bathrooms or 10 bathrooms. And what happens is, if you have one sink in that place that doesn't get used, the trap evaporates, and you'll be dumping the sewer gases into the building. And the fix is you have to go, I kid you not, I have, all these mansions, people have to go around every 2 weeks and run water in every one of their sinks and bathtub and flush the toilet so that the traps don't dry out. So if there was a gas odor in there, that's because there was a dry trap. Okay,
Okay,
that's
well,
not.
I was just
that's
told
not-
it
no,
was
I'm
a
just
sewer, and
saying
I
that-
don't have the background knowledge that you have on that.
And I wasn't there, but if in other words, if the system's backing up, when you flush the toilet, it's gonna come out at the lowest place, like in a shower floor or something in the basement. Okay, so if it's not doing that, and it's just gases, it's gotta be, traps
Anthony,
that are
were you
drying
at that
out.
meeting that I was at?
So again, if we let Franny go and look into it, I think he can come back and tell us what's going on. And you know what, let's throw Kurt in there too.
I'm sure, I don't think it's flooded, I think it was sewer gas, and I think.
It's the same issue at the community center and TVES when we get those gases. And it is horrible. It's absolutely horrible.
Absolutely.
But it's it's the same thing, like
It
at
has to be
the,
a dry trap.
at the school, because of the old showers and stuff like that, that don't get used, every couple months, we will get really bad smell.
So the only thing you can do is
Just go run water and,
Yeah.
pick the one that isn't being used and go run water there, it'll fix it instantly.
Yeah,
I'll find out about that. I know it was a gas, but I don't know who the result was, but I think it was a short.
And so, that would be the common sense thing that's going on. But if they don't have one of those, then we have a bigger problem. But I would check that first.
But I mean, I think getting back to the original comment that you had made is, they are having the septic pumped out once a month.
Yeah, that's,
And there's a problem with the system that, as you say, it shouldn't be pumped out more than every couple of
Right.
years. So then why is that being allowed to go on without
right. we need
somebody
to- we need to
addressing the
fix it.
problem?
We need to fix it. And to start it, we'll, get it reported back and,
Could
see
you
what you
report
find,
on
Brandon.
our next meeting, please?
Did we ever fix that pipe going out there? Remember
Well,
they had to cut the
that still
concrete?
is, we never have done that either.
The,
But
The
that
pipe,
would be a
repair-
backup.
repair
If
the
they're
pipe,
saying the
yeah,
pipes are
right.
level or the cast iron was,
the one repair we made was to the leaching field.
Right.
They were dead, so we
Right.
put in galleys, and that's repaired from the tank out.
But Fran, wasn't there a pipe like right at the building or under the concrete?
It's got a sag.
That's got, yeah,
But that wasn't where the backup was happening. The backup was happening.
Further
in the
down.
old section where
Right.
the cast iron pipe is. And there's a connection there, so
yeah.
usually it was in that point.
and is that fixed?
No,
Okay.
no, the old pipe, we'd have to cut the floors out,
Hmm.
or the floor.
And
out.
again, we probably would wanna do that. But
But that's not clogging or backing up at
It
that
hasn't
point.
in a while.
Right.
But that's where usually the clog was. And there is a sag going out of the foundation, out to the septic system, but you can see it, I mean, it seeks a level on it.
Because the other thing too, we should look at are all the toilet sinks, make sure they're not running. 'Cause my understanding was there was a toilet or something that,
well, part of that, I think, is the pressure issue.
well, yeah, it could be or not, but that will fill a septic tank quickly.
Long term, the system has to be done over, but we haven't done it because we don't know what we're doing there yet.
Yeah,
And just to move it and not know whatever's gonna happen.
Right.
Right.
It's a lot of money just to do the septic system over, especially over there.
Well, I think once you build up that pressure back up again, you're gonna
Right.
cure a lot of problems.
You don't have that water.
Except for the sewer gas, that's maintenance, inside maintenance.
now what about the vent going through? There should be a vent.
Yeah,
You know,
well, what happens is when the
They
traps
dry up.
evaporate out,
Vacuum.
instead of venting out your roof, it'll vent into the room.
Creates like a vacuum.
Okay, next is Fire Commission. They're meeting the first Thursday. Board of Education, Town Council, Communications Subcommittee.
There was no meeting, but Mike, I think we should schedule one with them to go over the whole NBIS project and have discussion in regards to that. And I know there's still a few reports to come in. Can you try and see if we can get one scheduled for our second meeting in November? Like at 6 o'clock prior to the council meeting, so it's the same night?
Same night,
if
Tuesday night,
That's okay
okay.
with the rest of the.
Yeah, that'd be the
that's better.
15th. Okay, sure.
Okay.
Just going back to the Fire Commission. Chief, the ambulance, any problems with that?
The ambulance is still an issue. It currently is on its way between Allison Transmission and Meriden back to North Haven to do some additional work on. The issue that was originally thought to be a motor issue is now believed to be a transmission issue. There were various parts that were replaced and additional parts had to be ordered, and that was completed, I believe, Friday in Allison, and it's going back down to Nutmeg to finish some other issues. That was not related to the bucking. There was a problem with the air horn and potential coolant leak that was found. So we're running 2 ambulances still.
Do we have a time frame when this is gonna resolve?
So what is our next step with this? Because it's been off the road since we bought it, basically. Since we had it retrofitted. I mean, where are we at? Because we're down an ambulance.
Correct, correct. The decision that was made from the meeting that the fire chief, myself, town attorney, and the manager had was, after it came back this time, the next time it goes, we're taking their option to take it to New Jersey.
Okay, so
to have
then,
it
once
resolved.
it leaves North Haven, it's going down to New Jersey.
After it comes back to us, next time it has an issue, it'll go to New Jersey.
But we don't know when we're gonna get it back, because it hasn't.
Within the next couple of days. We have it back by the end of the week.
What are our costs so far?
None. Out-of-pocket costs, none. Operational cost, we're putting extra wear and tear on the one vehicle that we're using exclusively as the primary vehicle. There was some issues with that car, but out-of-pocket costs are none. It's all been borne by Allison and Nutmeg International.
Have there been any issues with response time for our citizens?
I don't believe so. There might have been times we needed a third ambulance. I'd be lying to you. The chief may have better records than that. I'm not sure.
So we'll get it back this week.
That's the latest I heard as of
One
today.
more time.
Then it goes to New Jersey.
Okay.
Thank
Chief,
you.
Chief, I just have one quick question. On the third ambulance, how much revenue, I mean, you know, the other two ambulances obviously are in use. Those are the same, we did the same thing, we purchased those, right? Retrofit,
The third ambulance we bought is a used vehicle,
yeah.
and that was purchased,
Last year,
it was
13.
purchased while we were having this,
Right.
the 2015 remounted,
right.
correct. So that kept us on the road with two vehicles. Based upon how we keep our data, which was kind of out of my control, I can't do a query to tell you how many times that third call was missed. And that's what you're asking, because that would be that loss of that third vehicle. There's many times, and in the stats we do have, when our primary vehicle is assigned to a call and the second call comes in simultaneously. Unfortunately, that's how the system really works. You know, you get one 911 call and another 911 call comes in shortly thereafter, and you get two ambulances on the road. That third call that comes in, whether it be for in-town or mutual aid response, I can't capture that data with the system that we have. So that would be the loss side, if in fact we could get a crew for that third ambulance, depending upon the time of day or night. But we do really perform well with getting that second vehicle on the road. And I'll just emphasize what Anthony said. Getting the vehicle down to New Jersey was predicated upon an engine issue. And now we're being told by a third party that it's not an engine issue, it's related to the transmission. So that's the work that Allison has been done. And Allison is a heavy-duty transmission manufacturer that is used on all fire apparatus. So, you know, again, when it comes back from Allison, we'll have to see how it goes.
Thank you.
Mike, before you, since we went back to the fire commission, if we could go to the Board of Education, Tom, so in light, I don't know if you guys all read the ruling from the town attorney, where, and I quote his case law, that boards of educations with the exclusive power to maintain public schools. So, and everybody watching on camera knows that for the last 3-4 months, we've been doing this. So, do we get in trouble with the state because we have, you know, we're doing it and we have Michael spearheading it? And so my question is, instead of having a subcommittee meeting, do we need to bring the Board of Ed in here and get this straightened out? And it's not just this school. I'm hearing from people that are in other schools that, like for instance, the air conditioning gets turned on and off in sections with a breaker because there's something wrong with thermostats. I mean, there's a lot that's not being done in our schools. And we apparently have no business trying to fix things. So what do we do?
But aren't they public buildings? Don't we have?
Yeah, I mean,
Some
aren't they?
right-
I don't know.
ultimately-
We're-
I don't know, if you read,
If you
If you
read
read
the case
this-
Did we
law,
just get,
It's in your-
oh, I didn't, we just got it? I didn't see it.
It's in
Oh,
at your
okay.
desk.
I
it
haven't.
says they have the exclusive power to maintain their building.
Our belief prior to the rendition of that opinion letter has, to the best of my recollection, always been that the buildings were the town's responsibility. And I believe I've even heard Scott say he's not in charge of building maintenance and repair. So possibly we're all operating under misapprehension, and maybe it is appropriate to have a meeting, or at the meeting we're going to have in a month, that we discuss this.
Yeah.
And we can discuss it along with other things at the subcommittee, and then just invite them to come to our council meeting, which is gonna be right after
I mean,
it.
because, and when we get into this later on, like the recommissioning of the, we're gonna spend $10,000 to recommission that, but if they're not maintaining it,
How many times do we have to spend
we're
$10,000 for
throwing that money
recommission?
away, you know?
Well, I kind of agree with Al. Wouldn't it make more sense, though, just to have a meeting with the whole Board of Ed and the town council rather than the subcommittee? I mean, so we all hear the same message?
It's fine.
Yeah.
And to me, that just makes more sense.
So make that meeting on the second meeting day of November, the full Board of Ed and the full town council.
Then the whole board can hear it too. I mean, all of us are living it.
Should that be at 6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Make it
Yeah.
6.
Yeah. Okay, great.
May I move on to Town Planning Goals Subcommittee?
Has not met since the last town council meeting.
Okay. Public Safety Communications Committee?
Public Safety Communications Committee will meet tomorrow, Wednesday, the 19th, at 6 PM in the town manager's conference room.
Next is Planning and Zoning Commission?
Planning and zoning was to meet this coming Thursday, continuing a public hearing that's been postponed, and it will be continued on November 3rd, in the middle of a public hearing on a zone change for 2450 Foxen Road.
Is that where the trucking company
Yes, it
wants to
is.
go? Okay.
Next is East Shore Health District?
Next Thursday, we have a meeting with the union for the sanitarians, working out a contract, and I think North Branford is still down a representative to the East Shore Health District. I don't know what the status is on that.
Next is Town Manager's Report. NBIS roof review of progress.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I would certainly defer to an item 9A on your agenda. The Registrar of Voters are here tonight to make a presentation, and if you're so inclined to amend the agenda, I can wait in terms of giving my report. If you're,
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, make a motion to amend the agenda. to
Second.
9.
Second.
To move 9A before the Town Manager's Report. Okay, next is Register of Voters, presentation of Election Day progress and badge.
We gotta vote
Yeah,
on
we
it.
can vote on it.
We got-
Oh,
We gotta vote on the agenda.
roll call?
Mayor Duty?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin?
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni?
Yes.
Counselor Arman?
Yes.
Counselor Candelora?
Yes.
Counselor Diamond?
Yes.
Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Counselor Miller?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Okay, now, Register of Voters, presentation of Election Day progress and budget implications.
Is there an election coming?
You never know it.
In anticipation of the upcoming election, we will be hiring extra staff to accommodate the volume of electors expected. We estimate about 85% participation. Currently, we have 9,242 registered electors, and that's increasing on a daily basis. So in addition, we are having absentee ballots counted here at the town hall. It's called central counting. So additional staffing is necessary. Also, in anticipation of residents taking advantage of Election Day registration to be conducted here at the town hall, we also will require additional staffing. We didn't have this 4 years ago. This was a new law that was put into effect in 2013. So this is the first year we're seeing EDR for a presidential election. For this election, we anticipate to spend approximately $2,400 for this additional staffing from what we could figure out with salaries. We don't expect to have a negative in the payroll account at this time, but we still have a referendum to staff and the rest of our payroll for the year. So we just want to put you guys on alert that we may or may not go over, we don't know.
We can't afford to have the election.
Okay. We could have a party.
No pressure.
How many more registrations have you had, did you say recently?
How many more
You said like you
registrations?
had an increase in voter registration,
I can't,
like a ballpark?
oh, it's a couple of hundred. Yeah, about 30 a day are coming in, and now some are being removed as they're being registered in another town, so, but we're getting more than we're losing. Because new people are registering, or people that have never voted before, or haven't voted in so long that
So this is an unusual election.
every 4 years, we kind of go into this. Now, 4 years ago, don't forget, we had an incumbent. So you're not gonna have the participation in that presidential year as you would have had 8 years ago, when you had 2 new candidates. So, and then I have another note if there's no other questions.
Note number 2.
Okay. This is a note, we want to inform the public who are not registered but wish to vote in this election that they should do so shortly, because we want to get them registered. They can take participate in EDR, but we encourage them to register now, and the deadline is November 1st. If they take advantage of EDR, it could be a lengthy process. And they're gonna have to wait and for the process to be completed, and it could take up to 15, 20, 30 minutes. So we would rather have them do it now, up to, before November 1st. And that's all I have. If there's any other questions?
So what are the registrar's hours if people wanted to take advantage of registering ahead of time? Do you guys have to be here, or is there something?
No, the town clerk can take registrations from normal business hours, 8:30 in the morning till 4:30 at night. We've posted in the newspapers special sessions. The 25th, we're here from 9 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. We're also here this Saturday from 10 to 2. And of course, we're here most days, not every day, but at least 4 days out of the week we're here. So,
So either
but the
they
town
see-
clerk can do it, pardon?
Either they see the town clerk or they see the registers.
Yes,
Or if
yes.
the town
They
clerk
can
knows the
also-
registers are here, they'll send them back.
They can, pardon?
If the town clerk knows you're here, she'll send them
Yes,
to
she
the
will,
registers.
yes. They can also go online. The town of North Branford has a button that they can register online, and we get it immediately, and we process those. They can also call, we'll send them a card. They can go to any town hall in the state of Connecticut, and we will get it if they live in North Branford. If they call, I can send them a card. I'll drop a card off to them. There's a variety of ways. DMV is also doing registration, but there's a little kink. Some of them are in a pending mode because they haven't done something right. We don't know why.
Well, who would want to stand in line at DMV
Well,
to get to
they do,
to register
though,
to
but
vote?
they do, and we have sent them a letter if they're in a pending file. We've sent them a letter that their application could not be processed. We don't know why. Maybe they didn't provide something, maybe they didn't hit a confirm button. I never did it, so I don't know. But we're trying every avenue to get these people registered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Back where we were before, NBIS roof, under town manager's report, review of progress.
Yes, we are making progress. I had put together a memo to outline some of the bills that the council had asked to get sort of a feel for where we are. So I have in there Mr. Darling, Bruce Darling's our roofing consultant, so he's submitted one invoice, and there'll be more to come because he's still, it's a work in progress, and he's had some other site visits, and of course, there's another report that I sent out that he prepared from yesterday's roof visit with Eagle Rivet, so his will be, there'll be additional invoices from Mr. Darling as well.
Are you referring to BPD?
Yes.
Is that it?
Yep. BPD is Bruce P. Darling, roofing consultant.
Seems to have
We-
a pretty heavy hand in billing.
You had some questions
Does
regarding that.
anybody ever question these bills? I mean, 10 hours for meeting with client, 18 hours for site visits, lunch with a markup. Maybe this is all justified, but it just strikes me as a rather liberal billing process.
Yeah, no, it's a very valid point. I'll go through my notes again. We've had him up on the roof quite extensively, and then in terms of the documents that he provided, and I think you saw in terms of the schematics and drawings. So basically, he's Eagle Rivet is looking to our consultant, this guy, Mr. Darling, to make sure that everything that is identified gets fixed. So that's why he was back on Monday. To make sure that there weren't any questions as to any gray areas with respect to what's going to be fixed and how it's going to be fixed. So, but your point is well taken. I'll go through that again to make sure that matches up with dates and times that we had
Please.
them.
The drawings are very helpful, but it does look like he worked 18 hours in one day on September 1st. That was a long day, I guess. So I'm sure that that needs an explanation.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm sure that was probably multiple visits if there's only one, because he was.
Well, they were, the young guys from Firestone were, they came in from out west, and they were on that roof. So, when I saw the hours there, I mean, I assumed that was that day.
Yeah, there were actually, I think it was
Yeah.
two days.
And those
They were-
guys were, they were young guys that were here trying to get through the roof. And so they were here a couple of days that they worked.
Just asking.
Sun up to sundown, those guys were here. So, and I know Bruce was here a lot of that, but
Yeah.
definitely, should check on it.
And so the other additional items there are from the cleanup work within the band and chorus room for the ripping out of rugs, disinfecting, cleaning up. The Service Pro was in as well, so that's our Serv Pro. So there's an invoice there. I did not have the, there was another bill from Fuss and O'Neill for lab work and testing for that residual that was on the chairs in the chorus room. So there was a $1,300 bill that I'll also have to add into that process.
What about the cost of the new flooring that was put down?
No, they haven't.
They haven't put anything
They
down.
Oh, they haven't put anything down?
No, there were, I think that was purposely decided
Oh, it's
to
not
hold
put
off.
anything.
It's a polished
Oh, I see.
concrete, so
Okay.
nothing has gone back in.
Are they going
Uh,
to, or they're just waiting to find out?
Down the road, I think they are, but they want to make sure that we get through all of
Oh, I
the
see.
rest of the repairs, that we've now gotten through most of the non-warranted issues. We're working on the combined issues, and if you look at that report, there were 3 areas in terms of combined, which were sort of in the gray area of are they warranted or not warranted. So we've come to terms with Bruce. Bruce is helping us come to terms with Firestone, where we'll take issue item number 1, and they're going to take items 2 and 3. So that's the way we're at this point progressing to address the combined issues. So once those get done, all that's left is the warranty issues that Firestone will pick up the tab for and hire Eagle Rivet for the material and labor to finish the rest of the roof on that.
To your knowledge, have we had more water problems in the band and chorus room?
To my knowledge, no. To my knowledge, we've had some rain events, and that we've held dry in those areas. Where we haven't gotten to over on the area, I believe it's Section D, they're calling Section D, but it's the area closer to, that connects with the auditorium. That area has not been addressed yet, and I think they were still taking a few leaks there.
And now that we have the HVAC system working properly with the belts and the fans, we haven't had sweating on the,
Well, I don't
Well,
know
we
if that's
don't.
done yet.
Yeah, they're
That,
not.
that's not done yet.
oh, I see, okay.
It's proposed, but not yet engaged, and that's later on in the agenda in terms of the proposal
Oh,
that
all right.
they have submitted, so.
Did you say that there was another bill that we haven't seen yet, another 1,300? Is that what I heard?
Yes, sir, from Fuss and O'Neill on lab work. That was in terms of, testing in both the band and chorus room. So that's $1,345.
So at this point, we're up to $30,000 with that $1,300 bill, which hasn't come in.
Well, and what, I think one of the biggest items is I haven't seen the invoice yet for Eagle Rivet. They're not.
Right.
Right,
haven't
Right.
finished
for the
up.
Well, that's what I'm saying, up
non-warranty.
till now,
Right.
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
That's where we're at now. So,
But the Board of Ed is paying them? Or who's paying them?
it's all coming out of the fund that this council authorized in terms of moving around the capital money, so it's.
Yeah, this money that they had put aside that we appropriated, but we put it aside for this.
We identified several projects that weren't used and put back into
Right.
the capital. We approved 2 meetings ago. So it's all gonna be drawn out of that. So to Dan's question, Counselor Arman, the mechanical issue is later on, and that's sort of the second half of a two-pronged approach. But I will say, one of the other issues with the band and chorus room, Eagle Rivet, was able to confirm that they did do bore test sampling on both the band and chorus room yesterday. And that came out, according to Bruce, I mean, I have the numbers, but it doesn't mean anything to me because I'm not knowledgeable about it, but there was 4-inch foam insulation between sheetrock in the deck on the band room and 3.5 inches foam insulation on the chorus room. So I asked, and Bruce, whether or not that is sufficient, and his response was yes, that is within the, but
But we
again,
wanna
that's
get
his
that,
opinion,
we
and I
wanna
don't
get
know.
that to Newman Architects and have them compare it to the spec.
To the spec, right, and that's what I haven't been able to pull out, but,
Okay.
I just said off the top of your head, I mean, looking at this, does this appear to be sufficient, or is this one of those red flags that says, wow, it's only 3, it should be 6, it should be 8, or whatever? I don't know, so I asked him, he said he thought it would be sufficient, but Al is right, we're gonna have to check that with the spec to make sure that that was the original design intent to do that, so. That's one other thing, we're kind of checking the box off and making sure that that's not part of the problem. So, again, we'll get into it more with when you'll see the proposal from Horizon. So that's where we're at this point. Eagle Rivet was finishing up yesterday. I'm waiting for their response to confirm that they finished all of the non-warrant. There may still be a few items or a few places that they didn't get to. I don't believe they were back on site today. I did not get confirmation from them today, so, but it is a good week in terms of, if they need to finish. I think there's gonna be a gap in terms of timing between finishing up this non-warranted issue and getting Firestone to engage them and schedule them for the warranted issues, so.
Do you think this can happen before we get into the late fall?
Oh, I'm hoping it, I'm just saying, it would've been nice just to go bam, bam,
Yeah.
this week, but I think they're probably gonna take 2 to 3 weeks, but hopefully, I'll push them and hopefully we can get it done as soon as possible.
Thank you.
So,
Mike,
Next
just
is-
a quick question on ServPro. Do we go out to bid for that, or?
No, the Board of
I
Ed
think
just
the
did
Board of
it.
Ed took, I presume through their policies and procedures off a state bid.
I'm just curious, I know, ServPro's used a lot with insurance companies, and, I noticed they're on the weekends, but there's like 3 different dates here. And to, Joe's point, there's some hours on here of like 18 hours and whatnot. It just seems like a lot of money. All right.
Next is Town Clerk's Office update on HVAC system for the vault.
Yeah, so we had a problem, a system failure in the vault, which needed immediate attention, and fortunately for us, we have Kenny Hash working for us at Public Works and was able to step in and address the issue and work with Lisa Valenti in terms of the state. It's a highly regulated system. We have to get approvals from the state, and they have their person internally checking the specs on that, but it's a humidity, dehumidity controlled system, so you have to keep the moisture at a certain level and humidity at a certain level in there and keep it as dry as possible. So we had a system failure, but we were able to call in and get specs done and a system ordered and actually installed, which was last week. So before this round of warm weather that we're experiencing now. So the main system is in, and there were some things that Ken was able to identify with the old system that, again, like anything else, wasn't running optimally. So he's got a new system up and running, and the last piece is an add-on for the dehumidifier humidifier that's got to go through the state spec, and that hasn't been done yet, but that'll be the last part. But the main system is up and running, and we're okay at the moment, and we're hoping to improve the system, which never had that feature, to give it extra assurances that we'll have, a system that works like it's supposed to. So
Thank you.
unfortunately, the upshot there is about 5,000 plus whatever the dehumidifier is gonna cost us, and we'll have to, bring that back to you when we get final bills and make the adjustments to cover that.
Thank you. Next is report concerning underground storage tank at Stanley T. Williams Community Center.
Yeah, so just added that for your consideration, that that tank at Stanley T. Williams is a very large tank that I guess the best way is has failed. We have a report here from Fuss and O'Neill in terms of addressing it. Before we go that far, one alternative we're looking at is a 2,000-gallon tank that came from the town hall here that's sitting up at Public Works. So we're going to try and see if that would suffice in terms of a replacement and putting it above ground versus the tank that's in ground there. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
So is
If
this for
that-
fuel oil?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, so if that fails, or if that option fails, then we'll be faced to looking at trying to purchase and cost sharing with, obviously, because we've got a community center with the Board of Ed in that facility, purchasing a new tank. I hope to have, some information and to confirm that later, maybe even later this week, if we can, to see if that's gonna fit, and then we'll have something back for you at the next meeting.
So where we have gas at the high school, right, we have the gas line over there, why? So, I mean, we really gotta switch that over to gas and stop spending money on the oil system over there.
Well, it would be the other school too. It would be,
Right, the intermediate school and that, I mean.
no, the intermediate school is gas.
It
I'm
is?
talking TVS. The only two schools that aren't are TVS and the
Yeah, but
community
is
center.
there gas up there?
No, that was the
No.
issue.
But
Yeah, right,
we have gas at the high school, and we haven't switched it over, and that doesn't make much sense.
I thought they
Yeah, I
put
think
it
we
in
did-
free of
I
charge
thought
on
we
a
did.
conditional
We
we
did a dual.
converted.
We did a duel at the high school.
Well, we need to get, we're spending money on the oil tanks and stuff. What I'm saying is, we need to go gas and get rid of stop spending money on the oil tank.
Well, if the oil tank is functioning and we've got the option of going with whatever energy source is cheaper, isn't that what we did the dual burner system for?
I don't know, I wasn't, I know we
That's
ran
my
the gas
recollection.
line.
It was just a couple
That's
of
the way I
years ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I
you
think
were
that's
on-
what
And I thought
understood.
the gas line was put in free of charge by the gas company on
Correct.
condition that we
We're gonna
start
use
buying
it.
gas from.
Right, same with Town Hall.
So how could we not be buying gas?
We are. I think we are. I think this would be appropriate for the next, again, another, the meeting with the Board of Ed, but I believe
I
we
thought
are.
we got a note or we were told like a meeting or two ago that like the boiler was ready to blow up at the high school too.
It is. I mean,
Okay.
when we did the
So,
walkthrough.
back to my point. we need to, even if it's in the next budget, we need to get an efficient gas boiler for the high school and get rid of the oil tank. All right, that's all I'm saying. But, you know, it makes no sense. And,
But
you know, dual
I-
fuel, oil, you know, oil is, the gas is so much more efficient, and there's no sense running with the dual fuels. And when you're going with the dual, you're losing efficiency.
I thought
So-
there was an issue though at the high school or at the schools when we did the reason we went dual fuel is because it's interruptible gas service. So it's not uninterruptible. So that if there was some issue that the gas company could say, all right, we're gonna shut you off on gas. They give you notice, you're off on gas. For whatever the reason could be, that's the interruptible gas
Boy, that's,
service.
You know how much of the country runs on gas?
Yeah, I believe that was part of the issue, and that's why the
All right,
board,
so we'll talk about that when they
right,
come here too.
but that, I believe that was part of the issue.
Especially some of those boilers they were burning, what, number 4?
Oh, God, yeah.
Oil at one time in those boilers.
Yeah, those things are big and ugly and not efficient.
Anybody know how old that boiler is that we're talking about?
1964.
There's 2 of them in there. I think.
original?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
but we
one might have been
converted,
replaced.
We converted them, but there's still big old,
Right,
the
we
the heart of
converted
it is.
not too long
Wow.
ago to the dual, which cost us, I forgot how much it cost, because they,
35.
well, to convert the boiler. It didn't cost us for the gas line,
Right.
but it cost us the conversion on the,
From oil to gas on one of the
to the,
boilers.
Dual burner.
to the dual.
Combination.
I think it was like 35,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's quite the, I've never heard that argument on gas before in all my years in construction, so I wanna meet the person that thought that one up.
Well, no, that was back then. They had like an issue, but I don't think they had that issue.
I think the oil company must have been greasing somebody's palm.
So,
That's what I think.
moving forward, so we know we're gonna need to replace a boiler at one of the schools, right? So when we go through the budget process, is that in the board's budget?
They talked
how
about,
is
they
that-
talked about it this year, and they talked about it not too long ago
Yes,
at one of their
it was-
budget
yeah.
subcommittee, you know, the budget meetings they have prior to their board meetings, and Marie and I were both there. And Don said it could be,
Any
they're
more than that.
estimating $100,000 to replace the boiler.
Right.
And then
If
they're
it
not
could
sure
go.
when that could it could
And
go
it
at
could
any
go
moment.
at any time.
Well, so
Right,
then
it
that,
could go at any time, so we gotta do it.
Right, so, that was one of their things of, you know, we need to be prepared this year because this
Gonna happen.
could very likely happen, and it's $100,000.
And it could happen this winter.
Right,
It's bizarre that we put money into this thing to make it dual energy compatible only a couple of years ago, if it was in that state of condition.
Right, yeah, I mean, when you walk around it, it leaks.
well, that might be the one.
that's the other one. We're
Yeah.
talking, we have 2, and one of them is dual, and the other one is strictly oil. And it's a strictly oil burner that we gotta get rid of, correct?
I'm not sure on that. We'd have to ask
Okay.
them, because I'm not exactly sure on
So
that.
are we gonna get bids on these proposals?
Oh, yeah.
Or are we going to react to it as some emergency at some moment?
Well, it depends. If we do it right and we're lucky, we can, you know.
Plan
If
ahead.
we're
get some-
proactive
get-
rather
get-
than reactive.
Get a heating and
That would
cooling
be
engineer in
nice.
there, figure out what we need and put it in the budget.
But is an,
If it blows up on us, we're gonna do it as an
is an
emergency.
option total gas?
What's that?
Is an option total gas in
Yeah.
that building?
I would, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But let's hear what the heating and cooling engineers have to say.
It's lucky we got an engineer here tonight
So,
for something else.
yeah, we could ask Don. He's over there working on those units all the time.
All right, next is community events and presentations, announcement on donation of Christmas tree.
Yeah, just wanted to bring that to your attention. Lauren's here if you have any questions for that, but I thought it was a nice donation and a nice thing for the Rotary Club to do.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, Rotary Club.
So where is this going?
The above property,
Yep.
outside where the handicap parking usually is.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Thanks,
I have
Eddie.
a couple community events I'd like to make notice of.
Sure.
The
First one is, we've got a gentleman in town that really needs every citizen to step up and help out. His name's Bill Canning. He was injured severely Potato Fest weekend, and now he's been laid up for quite a while since then. And so they're conducting a called a Signal 4 dinner on November 1st. And I didn't see too much. I just put on the town, the other town website, the unofficial one Denise George runs. But I think it's important that citizens that don't go on the internet know that this man could use a few extra bucks to help him get through his medical expenses and his operating home expenses.
Where's it gonna be held?
It's going to be held in Hamden on Sherman Avenue. It's going to be unfortunately, Anthony said that's a town council meeting night. So if you all call in sick and cancel, you won't have a quorum, you can all go to the dinner.
Okay.
You can still make a donation, I believe. Do you have a poster floating around anywhere, or can we
Yeah,
put
there's
on?
somewhere around town,
Okay. There's people from Quinnipiac. I bought my tickets from Billy Newbig. He's our local contact here in town. There's some other people from the motorcycle club he was in also. It's on the flyer, but our biggest contact is Billy Newbig, Kenny Newbig, excuse me, here in town. And the tickets are $30, and it's something we really should support. He's donated many hours of his own time as a firefighter to us, and this is the least we can do. Even if you can't go to the dinner, some money, anything you can give to help out the situation, I'm sure. Because, it's a life-changing event that's happened to him, and it's going to be a long time before he gets back to what we could ever call normal. So it's a long road. I guess his attitude is he's exceptionally accepting this probably better than any of us could. So I just feel that we should really support him. And on a lighter note, this Saturday up at the Ogre Farm, starting at 9 a.m. in the morning, we will be having a tractor pull, our last one of the season. It's when the farm shines, all the trees are in bloom, nice weather, hopefully, and so if everybody can come out and support it, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Mr. Potter, so do you have a time and address again? You said Sherman Avenue, but where?
Yeah, I'll get you a copy of the flyer so you can see. If you go on North Branford Proud, I just put it on there.
Okay.
The biggest thing
Well,
to do.
I saw it, but the people at home.
Oh, okay. What is that? Do you have the? It's at Sherman Avenue.
Cascades.
What is it called?
It's Cascades.
Cascades on Sherman
It's a
Avenue.
banquet hall.
Yeah, banquet hall in Hamden. November 1st is the date. 4 to 9 p.m. is the time. And again, the contacts. One of them is Patty Flora. I can put her name on the film if you like, or her number. It's 203-582-6200. And then Kenny in town, you can, we're actually Janet, his wife. You can reach her at 203-484-4169. So anybody that can call these people and find out what they need to do or where they can send the money, I'm sure it'd be well done. Again, tragic accident. He was in the wrong place, and but yet, he's given so much back to the town. How can we just turn our backs on him? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and by the way, happy birthday.
I didn't. There's 2 years now. I should get older.
Oh, I see.
Okay, citizen statements, and petitions, and correspondence.
Hey, good evening, council. First, thank you for the work you do for our town and the residents. My name is Trisha Mace, and I live in Northford. I just want to take a moment of your time to make an announcement for my father. On Tuesday, November 1st, 2016, there's going to be a public debate sponsored by the League of Women Voters between Vincent Mace and Vincent Candelora, candidates for state rep for the 86th district, to be held at Evergreen Woods Senior Complex in North Branford. The event starts at 7:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And also, I would just like to publicly thank Franny Marola for all of his work that he does for the cross-country team at the high school and their course, which is out on the Auger property. They just held an invitational last Thursday, and they have another meet and it is one of the best cross-country courses in the state. The kids are very impressed running the course, especially this time of year as they come around some of those corners and as they're running through the course, and just to see the farmland and the tree color now. And I know Franny does a lot of work along with Floyd and his group to keep that course up to date. And I know it gets trashed a lot from the ATV, kids on ATVs and stuff, and they have to do a lot of work to get it in. But there was quite a crowd there last Thursday from around the state. They had a number of schools running, and the kids are very impressed with that course. So thank you.
The kids do a lot of work for themselves, it's not just us, but they.
Yes,
they really-
yes. The coach, Floyd Purness, and the kids also do a lot of work to keep that course up to date. But it does have a distinction in the state as being one of the best courses.
Okay, next item is resignations and appointments. Dan Arman, Board of Education, Town Council, Communications Subcommittee.
Actually, I asked Mike to put this on the agenda. There's currently 3 members from the council that are on this committee, and we were just looking for a 4th person in case one of us can't be at the meeting, so that we always have 3, we can at least have 3 members at the committee. And we're still within not having a quorum, because you can't have 5 or more, because then you'd have a quorum. So even if all 4 showed up, we would still be okay. And Dan had expressed interest in being on this committee, so I had asked the town manager if he would put this on here. So I would like to make the motion to appoint Dan Arman as the 4th member to the Board of Education and Town Council Communications Subcommittee.
Second.
Discussion.
Who was that second? I'm sorry.
Joe.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Mayor Duty?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin?
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni?
Yes.
Counselor Arman?
Abstain.
Counselor Candelora?
Yes.
Counselor Diamond?
Yes.
Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Counselor Miller?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Next is appointment of Town Council Representative to Board of Education negotiations.
I make a motion to nominate Al Rose to that position.
No, I'm gonna decline that. So, I don't have the time to go to that.
The first meeting is this Thursday, October 20th. So and it's a short time frame. It's from October to, what did they tell us? December 25th, they have to have, it goes to mediation. So I don't know what their whole schedule is, but I just saw that email that the first one was on the 20th.
Anybody want to volunteer?
Not for this one.
Hmm?
No.
I guess I'll have to.
I make a motion to appoint Marie Diamond to this.
I'll second it.
Thanks.
Target practice 1 more year.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I guess my question would be, Mike, are we gonna put together anything for Marie as far as our best last offer and
Yeah, package.
a
That's
package with,
Yeah.
you know, the ability? I mean, I did it for, I don't know how many years.
Is that what you guys did back then?
No, I never
Oh.
really.
See, we never did, and we really need to.
Yeah.
I think we should send her with something.
A basket of cookies.
Because, we had our meeting, but we never told them then where we as a town felt.
Where we felt we were, right?
You know?
I don't think it's necessarily wise to go in with directions from the town council. I think really the representative should get a feel for what the offer that's being made by the board and what is being demanded by the union, come back to us and perhaps then provide them with some input.
But I thought
I thought
that
you
was
said
part,
you can't do that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't do that.
when we
She
had
can't
that whole
provide
discussion.
feedback.
Seems fair to me.
Were you here, Joe, when we met with them?
Yeah, they're right. I just remember that now.
So that's why I think they're proposing that we go in with
We
information.
probably can't talk about what we talked about in that night.
No, but I mean,
Right.
if we had, a report from like Dave Ambrose and
Well, they
Anthony.
did send the
you know,
questions, right, or a bunch of
Yeah.
points that they wanted, so whatever was supplied to the board, I think would be wise to give to Marie so that she knows what types of things they asked for and what the information was that was given to them. we can do that.
And
can't we?
don't forget to quote our facilities manager of saying that we can't maintain our buildings because they don't have enough money.
Well, whatever we want to put in this said packet, we can put in that packet, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get you that packet, Marie.
We get his lunch, you're gonna vote yes.
Roll call.
Mayor Duty?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin?
Oh, yes.
Got it right. Counselor Angeloni?
Yes.
Counselor Arman?
You nominated, you're gonna say no?
Yes. Just want to make sure.
Counselor Candelora?
Yes.
Counselor Diamond?
Abstain.
Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Counselor Miller?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Look at you, have the support of the whole council, Marie.
Thank you. Thank you for
Good luck.
volunteering.
That's a
Marie.
change.
Yeah, thanks for doing it.
Okay, we're moving to unfinished business discussion,
Right.
action, review of North Branford Police Department communications antenna on Parsons Hill Road.
Yeah, Chief Seward's here, and I think we've made some progress. If you could give us a report on that. Thanks, Chief.
There's a handout being moved along. As approved by the town council last month, on October 10th and 11th, CSB Communications, working in concert with Tactical Communications, which is the town's radio vendor, replaced both the UHF Police Department antenna on the primary transmit tower on Parsonage Hill Road, Ochenkowski's property. They replaced the VHF high-band fire department antenna. At the same time, climbing the tower, they did an inspection on the public works system, in which they found a poor antenna connection, and that was addressed at the time. They also did, on the 11th, the climb of the secondary tower at Ochenkowski's property, where they inspected the backup antennas for police and fire, in which they found no problems. Just as a point of information, I'm not speaking on behalf of the police department, but you should know that the antenna that was in use for the UHF communication system for North Branford PD was estimated to be about 30 years old. 15 years old is about the life expectancy of a communications antenna that's exposed to the environment on a daily basis. The fire department's antenna was between 12 and 15 years old and in need of replacement. So I think it was a wise move by the town council to step forward and address the immediate issue and replace both, and to climb and do the inspection on the backup system. I can't say enough that we have great cooperation with Jeannie Ochenkowski and her family at the transmitter site. It's probably one of the premier sites in and around New Haven County for communication systems. So while Tactical and CSB were working there, they did a couple things for Jeannie to identify antennas that are not being used now, so it gives her an advantage. And she does a lot for us. So the second part of the handout is actually the antennas installed on the tower, and as they appeared before they went up is on your cover. So again, it puts us in good shape for a number of years. And it also gives Jeannie a static view of where the antennas are on the tower and who they actually belong to and what they're actually being used for. And that's something that's really important to us. So the PD antenna's about the 270 mark, and the fire department's at the 175 mark.
Do you visually inspect this on an ongoing basis, or how does that work?
We have not, with the exception of how we picked the problem up, was done in the inspection. Again, it means going up there with binoculars and visually inspecting it from the ground. And now where we know that the antennas are located on both towers, it would make that much easier. Yes.
Would you, okay. So I'm guessing, would you suggest we do that on a yearly basis or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And that should be part of our routine PM program.
Right.
So who would do that?
I can tell you, I would do it for the fire department.
Okay. Yeah, just one.
Okay. Any questions?
Thank you. Next item is a request to utilize town-owned parcels as access road located at Maria Todd Road, cul-de-sac.
Good evening. This item was on the last town council meeting. It was discussed. And just to give you the brief highlights of it, Jeff Andrews farms property in Wallingford and North Branford. He's the owner of property in Wallingford and North Branford, pretty much off Maria Todd Road. And Jeff would like to get permission to utilize a town-owned strip off at the end of Maria Todd Road and Wallingford Town Line to access his property in North Branford for farming purposes. At the last meeting, they asked me to make sure Jeff was here at this meeting to give you an overview and answer any questions and give you a little more specifics in terms of what he does and what he would like to do on the property. So Jeff is available. Maybe Jeff, you can just give a brief rundown or answer any questions.
I think you covered.
Okay, but just back there, if you have any questions or
I
anything.
have a
Yeah, we
question
have-
of the
we-
neighbors.
Yeah, we do have a
The-
couple of
yeah,
questions
The
for you.
neighbors. Did
To
you
the
wanna
neighbors,
talk to
well,
neighbors?
again, the intent, at least the way I understood it was, if the town council's in favor of it, then we just invite the neighbors to get any input along with.
Oh, I thought somebody was gonna go talk to the neighbors. Or find out.
First. I was trying to make sure that there was a concurrence of the council.
Right, we have
We're gonna
we have
move
to
forward,
go
and then-
forward, approve the idea of it, and then they were going to present
I
to
see.
the neighbors
Oh, I see.
and
Why
have,
would we want to do that?
what?
Why would we want to approve anything?
Without the input of the neighbors.
Without
No,
hearing
if
from,
there was a consensus that we want it to move forward.
Concept of it,
They
not
wanted
not
to
the
be-
actual
Not
approval.
actually
And the
voting
next
to
step
go
was to
forward,
invite the
just,
neighbors.
if we're totally against it, then there's no point in talking to the neighbors. If the consensus is that we're totally against it, why would we talk to all the neighbors about doing it?
It sounds like a pre-vote to me.
No.
Why would we want to even think about going forward with this? How does
Well,
this-
that's why we asked to have Mr. Andrews come in, so that we could ask questions about, that there was questions at last month's meeting at the last meeting that we couldn't answer because he wasn't here. And Kurt invited, that was the direction that we gave.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's why he's here.
My understanding was, and then, based upon the council's understanding of what Jeff would like to do, if the town council will consider it, prior to taking action, then invite the residents in to hear if they have any concerns about it. That was my.
37. So, sir, basically, you want to have access through this parcel because, why? Because if we're looking on the map, it looks like you should have adequate access on the Wallingford side.
We're looking for access on Northford side.
Okay,
From
what?
Northford to our Northford property.
There's a wetlands crossing, that's what Kurt told us last time.
Okay. So, and that goes throughout the Wallingford road, access, or that wetland? Is that the deal?
What's that now?
The reason you're here, do you want to go into the Northford side, is because there's a wetlands crossing that you have to go across
correct.
on the
Okay,
Wallingford
that's my,
side.
yeah, that's my question, and that goes across all your, all the road access there?
Well,
I'm not following you.
Well, I
There's-
think, in order to get to the North Branford portion, part of your property from Wallingford, you gotta cross the wetlands.
Frontage, right, so you have frontage. How much frontage do you have compared to the Northford side?
Frontage
Is there,
on
is
what?
there a stream that runs through,
There's a brook that runs, yeah.
that runs
that
through
I
the
cross.
length of your property
Yep.
and
So
comes
if I
out?
go through Northford, I don't cross the stream to my Northford property. Actually, it's a brook.
And what about from Middletown Avenue? Are you blocked or
Yeah, there's
stopped?
no access on Middletown Avenue.
Your property looks like it fronts on Middletown.
That's kind of my question.
There's a 1768 Middletown Avenue, that's a house lot.
There is also, I think, in your packet, if you haven't pulled out, another map, I think might be helpful that Kurt supplied.
There's a, I think it should be on the second page.
Well, is 1768 a house you own?
Yeah.
And is there no way around that house?
Yeah, you could go through the house.
You-
I'm looking for access to the back. If I don't own that house, then I don't have access.
Do you,
Well, I'm at a loss. You own the house, you can go around the house to the back. Why wouldn't you do that?
Because I might sell the house.
Because what?
I might sell the house.
but you currently own the house?
I currently own the house.
Okay.
Yep,
So
Well-
is the house currently for sale?
not yet.
Oh, wow. So you can't access it through the side of the house, and if you decide to sell it, then maybe things will change, but up until.
Keep it right away.
Yeah, I'd like to do it before I get there. I'd like to have access to the back through Northford.
Okay.
And we haven't polled the neighbors on Maria
I
Todd
know we
Road.
called neighbors, and want to get a consensus of the council. If this looks like we can move forward, then I'll certainly contact them and get, if we get input on it.
Kurt, it says in your memo here, to me it's clear, the applicant does have access to their property, but it's inconvenient, according to your first bullet point. Must travel through Wallingford or through other abutting property of Andrews off of Middletown Avenue in North Branford. So he has access through Wallingford, he has access through his own property on Middletown Avenue, and he's asking for a different form of access for his convenience. Is that,
My understanding, the Wallingford side, it's a wetlands issue, it's kind of long.
Yeah, he said it right.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
okay.
But
so-
right now, when you go through in the winter, you go through the brook, the hill ice is up and I can't get there.
But as
So I've had to go through Middletown Avenue to get through, and through 1768. So this will give me another emergency access and also give me access that's better.
But as long as you own the house, you're
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I can go through there.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just looking to get the other access.
How often would you need to travel on this
I'm
access
sorry.
way? How often would you need to drive over this?
Not very often. Now, we run cattle in there sometimes they're up there, I like to pull them out of there. Sometimes we stock hay up there, I'll be stocking hay up there this year, I like to run through there. Half a dozen times a year.
In terms of width, what do you need?
12 feet.
Driveway, 12
Yeah,
feet?
12
Okay.
feet driveway, just driveway width, nothing special, gravel.
Do you have to clear anything, any trees or anything, or is
Yeah, I haven't
it pretty
really looked
open?
at it, there's gonna be some trees. Actually, the neighbor cleared some of
Yeah,
the
I
trees.
use, my recollection, that subdivision was approved like 20 years ago
Mm.
now, I think about it. So there's gotta be second growth,
Yeah,
that's.
it's like brush,
Right.
overgrowth and
There's
stuff.
actually a drainage swale down through there that, again, it's sort of forgotten up there, that, if it goes through, we sort of make sure that that got touched out and directed all the water to the rear.
I may have missed this, but what is proposed to go through this access route that you're requesting?
Hay,
Ve-
cattle,
Vehicles?
water,
I'm sorry, what was the second thing? Cattle? And the
water.
and the cattle moves from where?
They go to I sell them to Massachusetts.
No, I mean, you want to take the cattle out that way
Yeah, and in, yeah,
and in from.
not all the time,
from-
sometimes.
George, instead of crossing the brook with a cattle and a cattle trailer, he would drive up there, drive into his pasture up there, and unload the cattle. And then when it was time to take them to market, if they were that side of the brook, he would drive up there with a trailer and take it out.
It's not hoofing it.
No,
No,
unless you got really highly trained cattle.
I don't know, Al, I'm just asking. Please excuse my ignorance.
No, that's
Well, I was thinking along the lines of George
You
too
know?
there, is he bringing them like,
Yeah.
you know, like they bring cattle through to change pastures?
So
I'm
what
from the
sort of
Midwest,
a-
so.
what sort of an agreement, I know we talked some last time about like a license. That's-
My thought, we have to run it by Pat, but some type of revocable license agreement, you know, that stipulates conditions, and, I mean, we've issued them to the water authority, they've issued them back to us.
mean, that was my initial thought. You know, that you could put stipulations in and conditions and normally it's revocable. That's what we've done in the past.
And who would be responsible for clearing and putting the road in and the gravel and all that stuff with the town?
The applicant would.
The applicant
Yeah, I
is
mean,
responsible.
because they're looking for basically a driveway through there. That strip was left for the roadway actually into, where Burgess property is in the rear. It was left for future access if there was ever any development. It's a 50-foot wide strip. I mean, what he's proposing to do is put 12 of the driveway in there for access. And I have seen I think one of the neighbors has cut some trees and ended up in the property that would have to be cleared up to make sure that there's access.
Now, this indicates that there's some concerns from town of Wallingford. Are those all wetlands issues, or are there other issues?
Wetlands issues.
They're wetlands issues. Do we need to know about that more particularly? Is that somehow a concern for us?
Well, when it all came up, Wallingford called Carol Zeb, and I came here and put it all through Carol Zeb, and it was approved for farming activities. Everything that I do.
But they just don't want him driving back and forth across the wetlands. That's,
There's a water course in Wallingford, my understanding of the brook that goes through there, and that's been the big issue in Wallingford, crossing it to get to the other property that he has. They don't want him to do that.
But going alongside his existing house property, is there those issues at the house that he may want to sell or may not want to sell?
it's just a steeper grade, I think, right? Isn't that what they said?
Exactly.
It's a steep grade going up.
And the North Branford Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency previously approved the farming activity. I
Well,
mean,
we're
that's
not-
what states here.
We're not discussing that, we're discussing the easement.
Yeah, but I mean, it's already, they did approve.
How many feet would the road be up the hill from Middletown Avenue to get up to the field?
From Middletown Avenue to?
Yeah, the Middletown Avenue, because, see, and I don't know that, so he bought a completely different piece of property that happens to touch his property. Okay, so it wasn't like there was a house there that was part of this farm. He bought a property that a building lot backed up to it, but it is a steep grade and quite a ways that you'd have to go to build a road there.
Correct.
How far? I don't have the scale or curve.
I think that
I mean, instead of building a 50-foot driveway, you'd be building what?
Scale. 400 feet, that's, I mean, just looking at this, GIS map, that's probably 800 feet to the rear property. It's a significant distance.
So we've got what is that other one, 100-foot driveway?
Off of Maria Todd.
I
That's
thought it was
100 feet.
50, I thought it was 50.
50?
It's probably longer
It's probably 50 feet wide.
It's 50 feet wide, 400 feet.
Yeah, okay.
Look, I really think it comes down to, you got 6 houses, if this map is accurate that I'm looking at. There's 6 houses on Maria Todd Road. And I think we're doing this backwards. Those people, I think, call the shot here. If they've got a problem with this, then I've got a problem with it. If they don't, it's their home, it's their street. I can be convinced to go along with this a dozen times a year. That's not a big deal. But I can't do anything without knowing what these people feel will or will not be a problem with their home. I can send out a questionnaire to property owners.
Actually, I thought that we'd have that information tonight.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the direction from the council at the last meeting.
Then
Well, I
I
think
suggest
that
it be the direction for the next meeting.
That's
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I agree with Joe, the neighbors have to.
Yeah, and that was the consensus of the last meeting, that, I mean, it was my understanding, once you decided if you would even consider it, then we're gonna talk to neighbors.
I'd like to talk to neighbors before I consider it.
That's what I
Well,
said
before you
before.
take any action, obviously.
That's what I said before. Like
I
to
can
hear
send
from
out a questionnaire and get it back, basically describing what's proposed.
That's what I did
with
too.
any possible conditions. Do you have any opinion one way or the other, in favor or against it? And we'll get that back.
I appreciate you coming in. I
Yeah,
thought
no
we'd be
worries.
hearing, knowing what the neighbors had to say tonight.
All set? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That lady has something she really wants to say.
Hi, I apologize, we're gonna get up during, citizen statements, but it went quick. Lauren and I would like to just, A, say a few words about item number C, knowing that you have to be, do it, and just answer any questions that the council might have, if it be possible, just have a few moments of your time.
All right, so we'll move into item number C, request by EDC for temporary liquor permit for Business Network event 2017. All right, you're all set.
Thank you.
I'm here to keep her company.
So I'm Liz Kaplan, I represent the Economic Development Commission.
And Lauren Monroe from Park and Rec.
And most of you attended our event this past August, the Business After Hours, and I went to the Park and Rec, the POCO wrap-up meeting, and there was a lot of excitement in the air about the event and the expansion of it for next year. And it came up about allowing alcohol to be served for this small window of 2 hours. It's a business-related event, so it's business people, it's not children. It's before the POCO starts. And will it make and break the event? Of course not, but we felt it would just be an adult evening, and we're gonna have guest speakers like we did, and again, we have plans to enhance it, and we're gonna work with the POCO committee throughout the winter and spring to make this a really dynamic event for the summer, and we would just really appreciate your support in this small window of allowing alcohol to be served during that time.
We're not looking to sell it.
Alcohol, beer, wine?
Yes, just beer and wine, that's it, very, very nominal.
And not for sale?
No, no, no.
Mr. Town Manager, are there any legal or insurance issues that we have to cover?
Not that I see at this point. We've got the insurance covered under our general policy, and the information I have from the Liquor Control Commission is, and I think I explained in the last meeting, is that two instances where you're not selling tickets or not charging for the event or selling the alcohol, that it's going to be beer and wine donated, so there is no exchange or monetary transaction. So in those cases, the Liquor Control Commission looks at it and says a non-event.
And I'd like to note that just last week, there was a terrific feature piece on a winery in Northford that is getting up and running, and we would like to certainly be able to reach out to them and welcome them to the community.
And I don't think there would be a lot of alcohol really dispensed throughout the event. We had our follow-up POCO Festival committee meeting, and we ended up having a lot of alcohol left. I think we opened 4 bottles for 50 people.
I wasn't there.
Well, thank you very, very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your good work, too. Next item is proposed ordinance 2016-1, amending Chapter 88 Parks and Recreation.
Right, we have the, Pat came up with the proposed language suggested in terms of changing or amending the ordinance, so I prepared a suggested motion for you. It's in your packet.
Wait, where's
The suggested motion.
I got the proposed ordinance, where's the motion?
This is what we need to move forward to
Yeah.
facilitate this proposal, is that correct?
Right,
It's just saying a public hearing, that's all we're doing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So-
Yeah.
Very good.
I'll make the motion, be it hereby resolved that the town council has reviewed the proposed change to its Park and Recreation Commission ordinance, chapter 88-13 is presented, and sets a public hearing to be held on November 1st, 2016 at 7:30 PM.
Seconded.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor Duty?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin?
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni?
Yes.
Counselor Arman?
Yes.
Counselor Candelara?
Yes.
Counselor Diamond?
Yes.
Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Counselor Miller?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Next item is approval of wage for Potato and Corn Festival Coordinator for 2017.
I would suggest we skip over that, and then that's where I put the executive session, so I can go through the process and negotiations, and then come back to that after we come out of executive session.
So we'll skip that. Next item is review of proposal from Horizon Engineering Associates for NBIS HVAC system.
Yeah, so that's, I had mentioned that Horizon had submitted their proposal, having talked to them, and the best analogy I can give you is, in terms of the system, it's sort of like a computer, well, it's basically a computer, but like the hardware and software, and these guys are the software side of this system, and whereas ABS or anyone else is sort of the hardware, replacing motors, belts, and things like that. So we have the proposal from Horizon, which is the first step in this process. We don't necessarily need, and I don't have a proposal from ABS, which is item G, because this piece has to come first. They're the ones that run the system, monitor the system, and so forth. He's the one that came on site, looked at it, and identified these heat wheels and belts and so forth. So this is the proposal that they worked up. I did, however, miscalculate and did not pick up the fact that it's $9,800 proposal for their not to exceed fee, but they're also their expenses for $800. So I guess that would make the total contract, if you accepted it, as $10,600 versus $9,800. But they're the ones that talked about this process would essentially recommission, or as I like to say, just a whole restart from just starting over, and rebalancing the whole system and identifying where you have to fix hardware if you need to. And of course, we're going to need to do that. And as you see on the first page, one of the issues that came up when we talked about the library is that the third bullet, half the RTUs, 2 out of the 4 compressors that are not functioning. And that's the reason, it wasn't a leak in the library. It was just the walls sweating because the system's not operating properly. So the indoor air quality was out of whack within the library. So this is the system experts that come in that will go through top to bottom, recalculate, recalibrate, and recommission this system. And this is the proposal that they have. And they're the ones that originally were hired to and put the system in. And as I mentioned before, I think it's worth stating again, going forward, I think we want to talk to them about potentially some sort of service contract for monitoring the system remotely, which I believe they have the capabilities to do, on a, figure out whatever works for us on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis.
Is there a price for that in here?
Not yet, no.
But that would be a cost borne by the Board of Ed.
By the Board of Ed, yes, on an ongoing basis, much like we've asked them to do with Eagle Rivet
For
in
the
terms
roof.
of the ongoing maintenance, which to me makes
Okay, now
makes
you
sense.
said that they originally put this in.
Yeah.
When was that?
I believe 2010.
When
Or in 2009.
And
when
it was already commissioned and went through this whole process when they originally put it in and got it going,
So it went in
when the building was built.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Or, whenever we went online.
And for how long has it not been functioning?
We don't know.
We don't-
That's unknown, but certainly,
And what was the maintenance expectations for that equipment at that time?
I can't answer that. I wasn't here, and I haven't asked that question myself. I don't know if it was, the expectation, I presume, was that they handed off, they commissioned this and said, hey, here's the terminal, here's the software, here's the computer, here's how you monitor it. I don't.
Well, I'd like
don't
to know what that is.
Okay.
I'd like to know what documents or directions they gave at that time. And whether we're even capable of maintaining such equipment.
Yeah, I don't know, yeah, right, and I don't know if there was any training involved, or if it was just, here it is. you know.
I'd like to know those.
Yeah, and I-
I'm
Board of Ed
sure
would
there
have
had to
answered
be
that.
training because it went into the guy's computer. So when he
Right.
pulled up the computer, he knew what belts weren't working, what system, you know.
And actually, Bill Chody said that too. So, see, I think, and I don't know this for sure, but I believe that Bill Chody is the one that's in charge of this stuff. He told me he had an outfit that was checking the system out twice a year. And when we went there in July and found that 2 or 3 of the energy wheels had belts off and stuff, you know, we all, I think you were there, that, you know, we said like, well, you gotta get this fixed. And he goes, well, basically, you know, you guys keep cutting our budget, so we don't have the, you know, we don't have the money to do this.
Well, perhaps,
So, but my question is, I don't know if we have somebody on staff that's capable of, you know, managing this. I mean,
No.
obviously, we didn't for the last 8 years.
so I think this is one reason why I wanted to be a part of that subcommittee, the communications subcommittee, so I can take all these clearly legitimate questions.
There's so much stuff wrong here in
Yeah.
what they found that we have no choice but to have them recommission this,
Right.
as far as I can see.
Yeah, moving forward, it doesn't seem like we do have a choice. But we
And
also
then-
want
but we
to,
gotta
But
figure out-
then it's maintaining. I mean, we can't keep recommissioning when things,
and then just not maintain.
Yeah,
And
right.
you have to have the proper training.
right,
The question is, was there proper training?
And
well,
we don't know.
yeah.
So we can look into this, though. I mean, those are all good questions. We want to prevent this from happening again. But, you know, so,
But in
But
order
so some of this
to
stuff
fix
hasn't
the
been fixed.
problems, in order to fix the problems, we have to recommission it so that they can get the system operational
and running.
and running, and then we can address all of our concerns with the Board of Ed. Because we're not
I mean,
gonna keep paying.
Teachers were complaining about the library. I mean, I heard it on the street, and, you know, we weren't even told about that until the day that, you know, and I called Michael, and he had just heard it that day too. And, you know, out of 4 units, only 2 of them were running. And they're not gonna work. You know, these things aren't gonna work if one thing isn't working. And we got this whole list of things that aren't working.
Al, do you think it would make sense to have a second person involved with the training? You know,
Well, here, doesn't it say that they're gonna,
That's
part
up
of
to-
this thing here, they were gonna
You know,
go over it?
That's up to the board.
That's
though.
up to the board,
It's like-
according
Well,
to this.
apparently.
They can,
We shouldn't even be looking or discussing this, apparently.
well, no, I'm just thinking if, you know, you have, you know, a second person, it may,
Well, I agree. I mean, the
think-
conflict here is that we have limited control, but it's our infrastructure that we are now
But-
tonight
but
paying
if we
for.
have
but I'm
this
sure we could
as a-
have the conversation and, you know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and suggest.
I
and-
think that this is an opportunity to reset, right? To
Right.
recommission this and put it back on track, to set it to its working in its optimal, you know, condition.
And moving forward, we get on a
And
maintenance
then
schedule.
you talk to them
Yeah,
about
proper.
maintenance, right?
So
we
here,
talked
you know,
about
in there,
training and so
what's included in that is 2 meetings with the control and mechanical service contractors are included in this proposal. So we've got, you know, they're telling us we need somebody that's gonna handle the controls, and then somebody, and you may have one company that does that, does them both.
Remotely, you're saying.
Well, the controls on site as well,
Yeah.
probably. who's-
That would be our training end of it.
Well, that would be, I mean, apparently now that's Bill Choate.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Or if we get a service contract.
we cannot go forward the way we went the first 8 years, though.
Right, after we have it
So when we meet
recommissioned.
with the Board of Ed, we have to, you know, we have to make sure they understand that.
Or we have somebody, have the Board of Ed, hire somebody for a service contract.
Right.
That can serve.
Well, that should be a part of anything we do going forward,
Yeah.
I think. I mean, again,
And
it's
also,
up to
we have
them.
to, we have to make sure
takes-
that they're qualified, whoever they hire,
Yeah.
to do this too.
Right, and this is
Or
a,
they need to make sure that
Yeah,
they're
'cause
qualified.
it
According to
seems
this,
from,
it has to be
this
done.
is out of our hands as to who they hire.
According to this.
well, I mean, right, you're talking about after this whole process?
After it's recommissioned.
Yeah, after it's, yeah, you're right. But I just wanted just to clarify that this is a two-step process where they're coming in to talk about the recommissioning of the system, and then whatever they find in their reports, as they mentioned on page 2, that whatever open issues and things that they identify, they have to hire this, whether it's ABS or some other firm, but it was ABS that came in and replaced belts or put belts in motors and all of that. So that's another cost that's coming in terms of, repair work that needs to be done. This is sort of system software reset and recommissioning and identifying where, it says on the screen, this is working. They go out there and check and said, it's not working, or conversely, it's not working, they confirm it's not working. It's the belt or it's the thing, and that's gotta be replaced. Then we've gotta hire ABS or some other contractor, that's gotta be hired to make sure that all those open issues get checked off one at a time and make sure that they address every single one of those issues. And I don't know how many compressors, how many belts, how many hoses, how many motors and things that they're gonna find, but that's another added cost in the two-step process that if we go down this road.
And we also have no clue what that added cost might be on top of this
Right.
10,600.
Exactly.
Right, that's just another expense
But we've got a
that's part of this
system that's
project.
not working.
But
We've
it's
got
not working,
sections that
right.
are sweating, we've got mold building up in the building. I mean, we have no choice, but.
I understand that, Al. I'm just trying to figure out what's coming.
Yeah, and I think.
We
that-
don't know,
Okay.
basically, because we don't, just as we don't have the cost yet for
This
the
apparently-
non-warranty.
This is turning into be worse than the roof.
Yeah, because
This
it's
is
been
not
going
running
on,
properly.
right.
Well, I'll make a motion, move this forward. The North Branford Town Council hereby authorizes Michael T. Powellhouse, Town Manager, to execute any and all agreements on the proposal submitted by Horizon Engineering Associates for the recommissioning of the HVAC system at the North Branford Intermediate School for a fee not to exceed $10,600.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor Duty,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin,
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni,
Yes.
Counselor Arman,
Yes.
Counselor Candelara,
Yes.
Counselor Diamond,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Rose.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is a review of proposal from automated building systems.
Yeah, we can skip over that, not germane right now.
Okay, next is a review of quote front and repair of basketball, tennis courts at Northford Park.
Yes, you have a member, we had talked about this, and Anthony was successful in identifying some unexpended funds.
We had talked about roughly $210,000 of the cost to do to Northford Park what was done to Memorial Field with the tennis and basketball courts and the accompanying fence work and replacing the basketball stanchions. If you go back to the 2013-14 budget, the next page in, you'll notice that we identified 3 projects for federal state grants. We had put in for a steep grant that year. And that was to do Northford Park, $120,000, Memorial Field, $225,000, and Stanley T. Williams, $120,000. That steep grant was never received. We did not spend all the money we had received in the grant for municipal projects, anticipating that we would not get the grant and would leave some leeway there. So there was $117,000 left in that year. In the current year CIP, which you're going to see elsewhere on the agenda, we are set to receive $301,000 under that same grant program. We identified $171,000 roughly, leaving $129,000 available. So if you add the $117,000 from 13-14 and the $129,000 from 16-17, gives you about $247,000. Again, the quote being about $210,000. If you incorporate a contingency and possibly address the LED lighting up there, you could easily spend the full $246,939 to accomplish the task of doing Northford Park what you did to Memorial Field.
So having said that, Anthony, and that was a good find.
Yeah, miracle
If
worker.
we come up short on the road project,
Correct.
is any of this money, could we move some of this to go over there?
Yes, the way this grant program works is I have to ask if anything that's not town aid road related projects has to get special blessing from the OPM. So I could easily put it towards that. So I think I agree what you're going with. Go with the 210, leave the additional cushion for whether it's Birdland or
If we're in trouble,
Fran Memorial Field or wherever, and then we'll do, at that point, we can address, once all these projects are wrapped up, we can see what's left
see
over
what's left over.
and go back then. So I would revise my motion to go to, down to the 210, I believe the number was.
Well,
Yep.
I think, is
Yeah,
your
I'm just-
thinking is
I'm-
not doing anything
I'm
right
thinking
now
of-
to
let-
wrap up
like,
the
when-
projects?
Isn't that road project gonna be done like in 3 or 4 weeks?
I should have a pretty good handle, yeah, in about 3 to 4 weeks. Currently, 4 to 5 roads are paved, they gotta pave, binders, the final one. And once that's done, the final course, we can figure out quantities for it, have a pretty good handle on it. So, like I said, within a month,
We can sit on
we'll have a
this.
pretty good handle.
I think,
Yeah.
I think that we
Yeah.
should sit on it.
Well, Northford Park isn't going to be addressed
Till spring anyway.
until spring.
Right, so-
So
Right.
that's not an issue.
And hopefully we'll have this money to do it with.
Yeah, that's great.
But if, I hate to use it if we
Need
Yeah.
it someplace
gotta run
else.
short on the roads.
Table that.
Okay, next item is 2016, 17 through 2021, 22 capital improvement plan.
This is just the final wrap-up of the process. You recall at the last meeting, you sent it to Planning and Zoning for an 824 referral. The favorable referral is included in my, the second page of the memo from Carrie Duquesne, the town planner. So this just sends it back to you folks for the final blessing to actually adopt the plan.
Be it hereby resolved that the North Branford Town Council adopts the 2016-17 through 2021-22 capital improvements plan pursuant to the favorable review by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Second.
Discussion?
What's it say we're doing? I'm reading it sideways here.
Well, you can revise each year as you go
Yeah, the only
along.
year that really counts is the current year, Ralph.
Right, so what are we saying we're gonna do this year?
All right, you turn to page 6 of the thing. Let's see, we're doing
I got his
10,000.
His computer is upright.
We're doing $10,000 for a recorder replacement at the police station that records all the 911 communications, telephone communications, radio communications. $88,000 for two SUVs at the police department. As Counselor Diamond mentioned, those are already on order.
Yep.
$15,000 towards a regional laser scanner. Currently, when there's an accident investigation, they manually measure the distances and stuff. This is a laser technology. We're putting $150,000 towards the fire equipment reserve, $135,000 towards the public works reserve, $15,000 towards gas dispensers, replacing the one at the central depot. Chip sealing, I believe it says $150.
Yeah.
It's hard to read this font. Pavement overlay, $57,000. Additional Birdland money, $130. Drainage, $20,000. The handicap Mill Road access ramp, this is phase 2 of the project, $20,000. $25,000 to get a construction estimate for Renovate as new project for the high school. And $294,000 was the money for this water infiltration project, totaling $1,107,295 for the current year.
It's supposed to stand up.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Duty?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin?
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni?
Yes.
Counselor Arman?
Yes.
Counselor Candelara?
Yes.
Counselor Diamond?
Yes.
Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Counselor Miller?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
And moving to new business, discussion and action, review of Connecticut DOT letter regarding the sale of land at the intersection of Route 80 and Route 139.
Right, this is the piece of land, we discussed at last meeting, and there is a developer interested, that's what triggered the whole process, and I don't think that the town has any use for it, so I think we'd decline it and send it back to the state, unless there's something I'm missing and that piece falls with some value to us. I don't see it.
Do we have any idea in what way it is to be developed?
Retail. Developers looking at retail, small, one, I think, regional chain of fast food, I believe.
With access from where?
I believe they're gonna try and get access off of 139.
139,
and
that's
through
where the access is now.
Yeah, and they'll have to talk with Central
Is it the
Plaza.
same guy that owns that building that's there now, the old dentist office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this to be replacement of that building and then utilization of that parcel? Is that what you're suggesting it probably is?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So it's not the same owner as the plaza?
No.
No.
Because we get nowhere with
No.
him. So I just wouldn't want.
No.
The North
think-
Branford,
yeah.
what?
No,
Suggested
and,
motion.
there's no, that's just it's obviously still a negotiation between
Yeah.
that developer and the state, and we hope it goes through, and that'd be benefit to the town.
Right.
Yeah.
The North Branford Town Council hereby declines the offer from the State Department of Transportation to purchase land located at the intersection of Route 80 and Route 139, and instructs the town manager to submit a letter indicating the town of North Branford is not interested.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call.
Mayor Duty,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quannen,
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni,
Yes.
Counselor Arman,
Yes.
Counselor Candelora,
Yes.
Counselor Diamond,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Rose.
Yes.
Next item is application by Capasso and Sons for assessment deferral at 1011 Middletown Avenue.
Yeah, this is the program that you approved earlier in the year, and we had mentioned that Mr. Capasso and Sons is the first company that was in line, and Vincent is here tonight to answer any questions you may have. David is also here. David Ambrose, assessor. The packets are complete. We put that together for you. We've gone through all the application process is complete, and it has to have your approval before it goes any farther.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Vincenzo Capasso, and I'm a principal of Frank Capasso and Sons. Basically, we're located at 1003 Middletown Avenue, which is basically the North Haven Northford line, the entrance into Northford. We're in the process of constructing a new office and facility for Frank Capasso and Sons, and pretty much it's an expansion. We're located right now adjacent to this property here, which we purchased about 2 years ago. It's the existing property is 1011 Middletown Avenue, which there's a house that separates us to, which I also own. And we are looking to go to this facility because it's bigger. So this would be the existing conditions that we purchased the property. And this will be our the new building, which would consist of where the garages were and converting it all office right to existing office that's there now. Basically, the layout would be, we would have a basement just for the utilities, a whole first floor, which would increase, with the second floor, and a little terrazza, which would increase the size of the property, but roughly from 5,000 to about almost 12,000 square feet. The site plan would basically pave and reinstall some site walls, get over all the fence, create new parking, more grass surface, and with the new office located entering into the existing warehouse facility and yard. So we're requesting a tax rebate for vitalizing the existing property, and we would invest over 100% of the existing value of the property that's there now. So major upgrades that we're also paying at our own cost would be to take advantage of existing water main that would just pass through Middletown Avenue, a section of it, and bringing it down this road, existing right-of-way road that will facilitate our building and some adjacent owners. So with that, I'm requesting the council if they could approve a tax rebate that was drafted up before, during this process with Dave, the assessor. And that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Motion?
This is a suggested motion.
Yep.
The North Branford Town Council hereby approves the assessment deferral application for 1011 Middletown Avenue, map 56, lot 15-2, property of Anthony and Vincenzo Capasso, as authorized by the resolution passed on June 21st, 2016, and effective October 1st, 2016, and based on the application information submitted to the Town of North Branford on September 14th, 2016.
Second.
Discussion?
Yeah, for discussion, and more for the people at home, I wonder if Dave has the numbers and could briefly run down them as to, you know, what we're doing, where we're at now, where we end up.
In your packet is the income, is the impact statement. The current assessed value is $1 million, $1,045,400. After completion of the project, the assessment will increase to $1.8 million. Effectively, there's no increase for the first year during the construction period. After the project is complete, the assessment will be frozen at the $1 million, $1,045,000. And from years 2 through 5, the increase in assessment will be phased in over that 5-year period, years 2 to 5. There's no tax rebate per se. It's actually a tax exemption. We're not losing it. We're not losing any money. If there was no assessment deferral, the assessment impact would be $3 million over the 5-year period. And lost revenue would be approximately $98,000 if there was no deferral and the project went forward and was completed.
So what does that property pay in taxes right now? And what does it pay at the end
Right
of the 5
now, it pays
years?
around $32,000.
$32,000, and what's it gonna pay in 5 years?
$53,000.
How much?
53.
53. Okay.
So, but the taxes they pay, this tax is just on the real estate.
Just real property.
Right, so, but they still are paying their personal property
Still
tax,
paying
which is,
personal property
that doesn't
tax.
change at all. That just,
That's not part of the
correct,
agreement.
okay.
Right, more vehicles and equipment.
Right, that's all part of the personal property.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thanks. Somebody want to move the suggested
I
motion?
think we moved.
Well, I already did.
It's already moved.
Now the discussion, roll call.
Roll call.
Mayor Duty,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin,
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni,
Yes.
Counselor Arman,
Yes.
Counselor Candelora,
Yes.
Counselor Diamond,
Yes.
Counselor Manna,
Yes.
Counselor Miller,
Yes.
Counselor Rose.
Yes.
We wish them all the best.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for staying in town.
We're excited about this project.
We are too.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice.
It's good for everybody.
It's, I mean, for us, the masonry stuff is kind of, it's pretty easy for us. This is what we do every day. So this is, we'd like to bring this skill, this trade to our own facility, so,
Fantastic.
yeah.
Thank you. Next is application by Don Capelli for assessment deferral at 190 Totoga Road.
Before we go further on this, did any of you get anything more than this 2-paragraph thing? It said that we had the complete packages. I have nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, isn't it, it's in here, right?
I mean, the
Oh, this
last
one.
presentation we had,
Oh,
we had the full,
No, I
you
didn't
know,
get
I had
anything.
nothing.
No, there's nothing besides this, no.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay, so we all have nothing. Okay.
Yeah, 101.
My name's Don Capelli. I own two businesses in town, actually. One being Totucket Land Holdings, which owns our property, and the second being Commercial Air Services, which are air conditioning contractors.
Should have been in there.
We own property at 190 Totucket Road, which is just in from Route 80, where we propose to relocate our air conditioning company and expand it. Right now, we're operating out of an old farmhouse with a couple of garages that are cobbled together. It's not really meeting our needs. So we went to planning and zoning for a new building on some vacant land that we own at 190. So currently, all that's there is vacant land. I do have just some architectural drawings, it's nothing fancy, to show what our new building is going to look like. We're going to invest about $750,000 into this building so that we could expand our business and stay in town, basically. The facility that we're in is just, we've just outgrown it, basically. So that's why we're asking for the deferral program, and I'm here to answer any questions.
What's the square footage of the new building, Don?
The square footage of ground is about 8,800 square feet. And we do have a small training room on the second floor, which brings it up to almost 10,000.
Okay.
Now, Don, is this, I remember a while back, you were talking about putting possibly sewer or pumping
Yes,
station. Is that still gonna be incorporated?
Bob Crisco, our engineer, actually designed the building with a septic system. Going a step forward, we have some potential to redevelop our site where it is now. That potential building would require sewer. So Bob Crisco is re-looking at this to put a small pump station in to handle our building as well as the building on the corner. That's potential at this point. And I have sent that developer a copy of the tax deferment plan as well, which they were very interested in, of course.
Sure. Thank you.
Shows you how important sewers and water service are in this town.
Yeah.
That we don't have.
Yeah, so when our engineer finishes the design of that sewer system, we're gonna be appearing again before you guys to request a connection at Woodchase, which we had
Yeah.
informally
Right.
discussed
Right.
prior.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So in discussion, guys, I'm not sure that this, and I know, planning and zoning looked at it, but I'm not sure that this was the intent of what we were doing. I think, at least what I thought we were doing was the last one we did, or if he took his existing buildings and was gonna remodel there. I thought it was kinda like we were cleaning up old properties or adding to businesses. I didn't know, so if this is allowable, can you build a new home on a existing lot and you meet the criteria? And you get 5 years tax-free. So I just wanna, I thought it was presented to us like the property that Capasso's had. It's a big old ugly warehouse, we're gonna upgrade it and improve it. And again, like where his existing building is, I think if he had the thing there, but to me, I don't see how we jump to taking an empty lot. And maybe, everybody, all our paid people said that it was okay, but this is the first time, number one, we had no backup. And so this is the first time, I never thought we were taking empty lots and, it's pretty easy to go up 35%. You build a building on an empty lot. So,
I believe
anyway,
that's-
that's just my point of view.
I believe the statute calls for new construction, expansion, or rehab. And the use does not include residential property.
Okay.
Right, it's for
That clears
commercial
that up.
only.
Right, so it's for.
Commercial.
Incentive for commercial construction.
So what we adopted is for taking an empty lot. and
That's one of the
building it.
3 options.
Okay.
New construction, rehab, and expansion. The current tax for the property is $3,000. Mr. Capelli will pay that amount during the construction period. He will pay $3,000 for year 1, $5,000 for year 2, $7,600 for year 3, $10,000 in year 4, and $12,000 in year 5.
Any more questions? Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Motion.
Suggest a motion.
The North Branford Town Council hereby approves the assessment deferral application for 190 Pawtucket Road, map 22, lot 3, property of Donald Capelli, as authorized in the resolution passed on June 21st, 2016, and effective October 1st, 2016, and based on the application information submitted to the town of North Branford on October 11th, 2016.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Duty?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin?
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni?
Yes.
Counselor Arman?
Yes.
Counselor Candelora?
Yes.
Counselor Diamond?
Yes.
Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Counselor Miller?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
The next item is review of quotes for fence repair and new gate at police department lot.
I had a couple of questions on this. And I can get my thing to work here. Seemed to me that we had 3 different proposals, but they were for drastically different services. Proposal 1 was for 335 feet, proposal 2 was for 378, number 3 was for 435. And I just didn't understand, like, what was the criteria for the proposal? Did they just, I mean, it doesn't make any sense, really, to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it might have been the lieutenant and maybe the chief that had talked with the companies involved in terms of, so I don't really know the scope of what they were looking at. But in any case, the issue really is that it's well beyond any of the, it's not a quoting matter, it's a bidding process because it's an extensive project. It's well beyond our threshold. So you can't quote this type of project.
Right,
and
so
have
these
to
are just
bid it.
proposals,
And I
I
think,
presume.
just from my 2 cents, you know, at this point, you probably want an opportunity to maybe set this on the back burner for now and allow maybe, you know, Fran and Public Works, when time permits, to take the trees out, stump it, take a look at it, and then write up some very specific specs as to, you know, how big do you want it? What do you need to do? Because there's a lot of things going on in there in terms of how do you want to lay it out and design it so you don't have issues with plowing and so forth. And you know, I'm not trying to speak against this project. I think, you know, security is an important
Well, they
issue.
need it, but we just don't have.
Right, I don't,
That rear lot is way too small. It's been way too small for a long time, and Franny knows that as well.
Well, yeah, we all do.
The trees should be taken out. Should be put millings in there for a while till it settles down where the trees were. And then you address it in another year or 2.
And whatever we do with the fencing, Mike, you know, we want to have it, be able to accommodate whatever we do in the future without having to mess with it again, right?
But there really is a security problem right now. I mean,
There's been a
part of the
security-
fence broke.
There's
didn't
been a
part of
security
the fence
problem
just
for
break?
20 years. There hasn't been a gate on there for 20 years. What kind of
But
security
didn't part of
problem?
the fence just fall down or something?
We're not in the center of Bridgeport. We don't have to worry about a security problem.
Okay.
but I think that, I mean, to Reese's point, in terms of shoring it up, I mean, you can shore up the fence, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they could get a guy in there to repair the fence, or Franny could put a couple,
You should
pull a
repair
couple
the
poles
fence
over.
and not spend the money right now, because if you're gonna spend the money now, you're gonna rip it all down and do it all over
Right,
again.
that's exactly it.
Doesn't make any
Is
sense.
how much of it needs to be, is there a big
There's
portion?
2, 3 sections and then tie the other stuff up.
Okay.
So it's a matter of pushing the post up and just securing that.
And that
But like
comes
Mike
out of
said,
their
it's
budget.
not secure, it hasn't been secured as long as I've been here. That's almost 23 years, so gate hasn't worked since then.
Is shoring it up with something that
We're
you
gonna
can do?
confuse the criminals.
Is there anything that can be done to provide perhaps a little bit of privacy on the south side on that stretch of fence? Because it's all, everything in that lot is visible.
Yeah, I think you could put a privacy fence up, but why would we do that now? We don't, you gotta decide what you're gonna do there, number one. There's no, if we're gonna go put a fence up over here now, today or tomorrow, down the road, we're gonna be cutting all the trees down, and all of that fence that we just spent 20, 30, whatever it is, 15,000 to put up, we're gonna take it all down.
Well, I'm not suggesting,
So
you know,
if you
putting
fix
up,
the fence up.
putting up new fencing. I'm just asking if there's
You gotta
anything
put the
that,
slats in that, but even that is probably gonna have to come down anyway.
Don't they have that cloth that you can hang from the fence that,
there really does need to be something for privacy in there.
That's your guys' call, I'll do whatever you tell me to do.
A little bit. If that's not a big add-on, you know.
See, I think we should do nothing with the fence until we get the septic system figured out.
Well, that was the next thing.
Well, I mean, the fence really shouldn't be considered in one sense because the whole parking lot is a mess.
Right.
And, you know, the footprint is insufficient. I look back at what our lovely presentation that was given us in June, and it tells us, among other things, that they need bollards, and they do. So all of that has to go in, as well as new pavement and a larger footprint. I mean, just a lot.
What I'm saying is you can't pull the trees out and then pave over it the same year. It's gotta settle, so.
So it sounds like the best thing right now is just to fix the part of the fence that fell.
Fix the
Yeah.
part of the fence. When Franny gets time, he could take the trees down, put some millings in there or whatever, and we have to put a gate in the back so they could park outside there, whatever.
So Franny, what's going on with the sag pipe coming out of the foundation? I mean, is it in the foundation? Is the hole in the foundation too low?
I can't remember if it was on the
Too
inside or
high?
the outside.
But that's when you ran a camera up there?
Yeah, it was a while ago, I'm sure we get the film. I think, I can't remember, it was either inside or just outside the wall. It's right at the foundation wall, whether it was inside or out, it's right there.
Because if it's
I think in the
outside, we should be
inside.
able to fix it.
It's in the inside,
Yeah.
because that's where the flow goes, and you can tell when it goes out. But the big question is, where, you know, where we put the, whatever happens there, where's the system go? Because this tank is right behind it, you know, it's right behind it.
we will, when we vote on it.
So you couldn't put anything on the back of the police department, if you were going to do anything back there, it would have to get moved.
But you could put it in the parking lot. You know,
Well,
get
it is in
moved
the
out,
parking lot in the back,
you know?
it's the whole back parking lot. But we could fix the
There-
fence up there, so it's not laying down.
There's a couple things you could address over the winter, you know, if you wanna remove the trees back there and get that
Oh, we'll do
straightened
that.
out.
We don't want to do it in the winter anyway.
And then, Dan Arman's knoll
That's a
over,
whole nother subject.
over by Auger Field.
That's a whole nother subject.
Is that, what is your disposition on that now?
I'd love to do it, but you have a lot of drainage work to do there. You have all the water that's coming off of 22, plus the pipe of water coming from the other two on the other side of the road.
Hmm.
We have the little pond over there, there's the swale, that's where all.
By the road and the driveway
Where
there.
the water goes down and out, so all of that water's gotta go somewhere.
See, I think that, and, you know, and I've talked to Franny about this, I think that looking at that, you know, we need to, and it killed me to approve 25,000 to look at a high school, because that's, we just threw that money away.
But we don't have to
Capital
do
improvement.
it.
We just threw that money away. What we should do is probably spend $10,000 with an engineer and figure out, you know, what are we doing? Let's look at the drainage and look at the knoll and the bumps over there at that property. Instead of just going helter-skelter, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this, we'll put up a Christmas tree, we'll put in a dog park, and we have no freaking clue what we're doing. But,
Especially when you're talking drainage, I mean, it's not, it's big. I'm all for it, Dan, you know, to do it.
and so am I, Dan.
I don't like.
No, I hear you. I know.
I don't like just doing something to say we did it.
Right, I agree.
But I think we need to get a topo of the property and do it like it was a development.
Yeah. So we
You know,
could, we
and I think
wanna
we need to
utilize
ha-
this property.
We just talked about found money, you know, tonight.
Right.
So why don't we just take 10,000 of that
Or
found money?
whatever it is, you know, put a
Or whatever it
request for
is.
proposal out.
And just, I mean, this is an important project.
But don't we have 100,000 in our capital
Yeah.
for
Facilities.
Which we were-
facility studies? Can't we
Right.
take 10,000 from that and do an engineer study on
And I don't
other?
even, you know.
Or
And
whatever,
might I add-
whatever it costs?
Might I add, we were gonna use some of that money for drawings for the police department as well.
Yeah, right, there was
But we certainly have enough, that money's still there and hasn't been used at all,
I
so we
mean,
could.
Franny, you're the guy that's gonna fall on, you don't feel comfortable just doing it yourself.
What's that, the layout?
Yeah, the drainage and everything else.
Well, like, I guess, what are we gonna use the property for? And you're putting structures in there, you know, you have to put, you know, we have to take that water, you know, the water comes from 22 there.
There's a lot of water.
There's a discharge right there, so we have to, you know, design the system based on the flow, plus where are we gonna put it? Are we gonna cut it across and go behind the barns with the pipe? Or are we gonna go straight down, behind my buildings with the pipe? And do we take the trees down and lower the whole lot down? You know, what fill are we pushing where?
Mhm.
And are you ever gonna put a building there, or are you just gonna make it an open field, park things, you know? So you start putting structures in, and then all of a sudden we're gonna put a foundation in for something, just say, and now we gotta move pipe, because they're in the wrong spot. So someone's really gotta look at it, and, you know, we have that little, low spot right along, you know, the public works driveway and the lot there. Some of the water goes, puddles over there.
Right, right.
So, you know, there's a lot of little variables, it's not just taking off the topsoil, and by the way, there's a foot of topsoil there, so it's not like we're just gonna push it with a little bulldozer, we're gonna be pushing up topsoil, which we can use, but you have to, you know, have to be able to do that.
See, the expensive thing would be the survey, you know, it'd be a topo.
You've got that now.
We've got that.
We've got that.
Okay.
We'd love to do something, yeah. We have aerials of, townwide aerials. And I think that.
What do you think, Kurt, money-wise? What do you think it'd cost
Well,
us?
I think Al's right, I mean, just for a ballpark or a placeholder, and again, what Fran is saying is 100% correct. I mean, it's really back to that master plan, what are you gonna do, you know, long-term? You do it once, I mean, we have a history of going, going a step here and a step there. I don't really wanna do that, we wanna have a long-term plan where we're going with it. The grade, I mean, with the contours, grading is easy enough, and figuring out the drainage, that's not the big consideration. Really, where do you wanna put things, and what are the future uses?
I mean, we're, at this stage in the game, you know, we're kind of handcuffed because, you know, when it comes to fencing, and when it comes to everything else in this area, we gotta decide what we're gonna do long-term in order to be smart about everything, you know? I mean, we do have to develop some sort of a plan here so we can move forward with drainage and fencing and everything else.
And it's a beautiful piece of property.
It is, and we're not, you know,
Yeah,
honestly,
it's beautiful.
this is a wonderful piece of property. We're not utilizing it like we could be.
And hence, if we got the drainage done, it's, you know,
It-
drainage is big. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the only thing that, to me, is to hold us up, which way are we gonna go?
Your recommendation is run it down along the road and behind the buildings, which I don't foresee any more building on your roadway,
No, well,
on either side of the roadway. So it's easy to live with, you know, drainage pipe running down along your driveway and behind the buildings, and then dump out off the back side.
But even that, Mike, for sizing those pipes and stuff, that's something that,
Yeah, I mean, you gotta figure out what's coming in there, do you wanna use some of that area, you know, where the existing little pond is, some of that, a lot of that water can be infiltrated, depending on how you look at it. Because you don't, I mean, from an environmental point of view, you don't wanna just push I don't think you wanna push everything down to the Farm River. Because one of the things we try to do with any development is to, no net increase in runoff. I mean,
Yeah,
right
but
now,
I
there's
don't-
something gets there and a lot gets in the ground.
I hate retention ponds on a main road. I
I'd
hate,
say,
down in the back somewhere, fine, retention pond at back
And you
there.
have to make it something viable, not just thing overgrown weeds.
Right.
If you're putting something in the front, you do it the right way. And again, I haven't given a lot of thought, but that's something that you have to really look into.
That's prime property in front to put any type of pond in there.
Right.
Right. And again, that may just be sort of an enhancement of what's there, and I'm not talking about creating a huge thing. I don't think that's what we want to go with.
We're putting a Christmas tree out there, we're gonna put it out there with something that we have technology. It's just a start.
What about that gazebo that's
What
going
about
in?
the gazebo?
That-
The Al Rose gazebo.
The Al Rose gazebo.
That's going down next to the fast food.
Oh, okay.
Well, so can we have this and a discussion about the police department added to our next agenda? So we can have a further discussion about the fencing and so we can move forward with all this stuff? Is that a possibility?
I'd like to get a
Yes.
proposal from the police department on what it is that they want.
The police commission was supposed to be coming here on the second November meeting.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, I brought that up last month.
Oh, good, all right.
Well, they should bring a proposal for what will solve their problems in
And
that parking lot.
what they said, they asked to come to the second November meeting, I think it's the 15th.
Because we're gonna need drawings for that and this also.
So if you would defer to that, they asked for the second November meeting.
Okay, so could we have this added to the same agenda then, second meeting in November?
Yeah, and in between, on the second item, the property, Auger property.
Right.
Process, and the impetus was to talk about, you raised this about the knoll, right?
Right.
For the purposes of enhancing the parking for the festival.
Right.
So I mean.
Oh,
so-
and
Well, it's
utilization
not-
of it, period.
Everything.
It's just-
You got that big knoll that
Right.
you can't put anything on it.
And I'm just suggesting that if this widen the discussion, do you want to invite the rec department to comment on that, the rec commission to comment on, because part of it is obviously recreational impact.
I want to go that far.
I'm just throwing it out there. I mean.
No, I think, yeah, I'd like their input on that. It's their
All we're
domain.
doing is leveling the property. I mean, what are we gonna get a discussion over whether we want to save the hill or not?
No, I don't
No,
think
no,
that
no, I
was.
mean-
Started with a discussion of repairing fences, and we went from that to drainage, to
Right.
pipes, to Christmas trees.
Yeah, because
I don't
it's-
know what we're talking
Well,
about.
Because it's all attached. It's all one big body.
Just to the point of, doing it right and having, the input, what is the long term? So we'll improve it, we'll take the knoll out and improve it, but then what? I don't know if you wanted Rec's input in terms of, as a park and open space and, benches and letting people, hang out, I don't know.
We're almost talking about a master plan for the entire Auger property, which is way beyond anything we're capable of dealing with right now,
Right.
either financially or mentally. I just don't see where we're going. This discussion's going around in circles and getting nowhere.
Now, we first started out, discussing just taking the knoll down. And then Franny mentioned, water drainage.
The drainage.
Which,
Yeah, 'cause
kind
they-
of goes
they
hand
go
in
in
hand with taking the
conjunction.
knoll down. But
Those two things.
the knoll, Public Works can handle the knoll.
Well, the
We don't
swale
we
goes-
don't need any
the knoll
outside
is right at
contract.
the bottom of the swale, so you can't close the swale off.
Right.
You take the knoll down and you can put it somewhere else.
Without drainage.
The swale goes right through there, goes right around, it goes around the barns.
Well, like Joe with the fencing, we can't move on fencing and for the same reason,
Then don't. Well, guys, you gotta make a decision to move on. We can't just keep pining about this piece of property for the next 3 hours.
Well,
Okay.
we'll just put them both on the next agenda.
Well, the
We'll talk-
second meeting in November.
Second meeting. Kurt, can you make up a proposal for, you
Yeah,
know,
I'll
Right.
draft
survey?
something,
Right.
so at least you can respond to it. Good shot.
Okay. Next
So
is,
that's the fence right now for now, right? Is that my charge?
One more thing to
yeah,
add to your
just
list.
patch it.
You have a couple Band-Aids?
I don't know, Fran, I thought you were putting up the Christmas tree, fixing the fence, looking at the sewer pipe, or septic pipe, cutting down trees, and something with a
Police
grassy,
department plumbing.
no.
All right, next is
Okay.
meeting schedule for 2017.
I move that we accept the meeting.
Well, before, just one item.
There should be a conflicting date there somewhere.
The, I believe the November 7th meeting is going to fall on your
Election day?
election.
Right.
So typically, I believe you skip that.
Yeah,
Correct.
usually delete it.
Right, okay.
And
so-
then, isn't the council meeting the first Tuesday after the election? So that would change.
Mhm.
Right, so you go to the second.
14th.
To the
Yeah,
14th,
14th,
right.
So just one meeting in
keep the
November
21st?
on the 14th.
Keep the 21st, bro.
Well, I thought we just did one
Yeah,
meeting
yeah.
in, when it
We
fell like that.
strike the 21st
Okay,
and strike the 7th.
Make it the
and
14th.
Make it the 14th.
okay.
Unless you wanted to do 2 in December. Have the one meeting in November and then do 2 in December, go to the regular schedule, the first and
That's
third.
kind of, I mean.
Only because
Last year,
if you only have 1 in November and 1 in December, they get really crowded and
Right.
they're really long.
and I remember, right, and I remember last year, I hate to say this, but I was hoping we were gonna have those, you know, more meetings in December.
So we could.
But it's hard,
We could do that,
yeah.
Yeah.
depending on
But
if
just do
everyone
the-
is running
Yeah.
again next year, because it would, we would set the
Running
schedule
right
for
away.
whoever.
Right.
But we could, that would be my proposal, just being a council person that has been through this a couple times.
Well, then
I
make-
just-
make the proposal.
Probably the 5th and the 19th of December, I'm guessing, if that proposed date of the 12th is accurate.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the 5th and the 19th.
So my proposal would be to have one meeting in November, which would be November 14th, and then 2 meetings in December, December 5th and December 19th.
Second.
Yeah.
Further discussion? Roll call?
Mayor Duty?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin?
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni?
Yes.
Counselor Arman?
Yes.
Counselor Candelara?
Yes.
Counselor Diamond?
Yes.
Counselor Manley?
Yes.
Counselor Miller?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Next is financial report as of September 30th, 2016.
Unremarkable.
All right.
Beautiful.
Next is tax refunds.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Roll call?
Mayor Duty?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Fawnin?
Yes.
Counselor Angeloni?
Yes.
Counselor Arman?
Yes.
Counselor Candelara?
Yes.
Counselor Diamond?
Yes.
Counselor Manna?
Yes.
Counselor Miller?
Yes.
Counselor Rose?
Yes.
Next item is citizen statements and petitions.
Branford. I want to thank you for what you did tonight, because there's some repercussions in a positive manner. Those 2 new businesses you kept in town, and you also kept them in the state of Connecticut. And as that gentleman from Capassos and Sons was leaving, he was super motivated, and he said he's going to do something for Bill Canning. So again, you might have taken a hit in one side of town, but you boosted the morale on the other side. So again, that's a plus plus as far as I can see. So I mean, he left here happy, and he's gonna spread some of the joy around. And again, you're gonna get tax money, it's just that they're gonna build bigger buildings maybe than they originally were gonna build. And down the road, you'll assess them at higher property taxes, and maybe they'll fit 6 trucks in there instead of 2, and you'll get the taxes off that. So this is just gonna mushroom in a positive way.
Plus employment to town residents, perhaps.
Right, he might be able to hire a couple new people, you know. So again, it's never a bad thing, and I think it should be pushed and made more noticeable, because the gentleman said he's got probably somebody interested in his old property, it's gonna come before you. And again, so I think it's a good move, because we always have a hard time selling this town. The Economic Development Commission can only do so much, and you guys just picked up and ran with something positive. Second thing, something I've always believed in, and my wife's car, when we bought it, extended warranty. We had a problem yesterday, would have cost me $500-600. I paid a $100 deductible today. Can that be built into what you're looking for from these services? You'll have a one-time charge or something, but when you have a problem, you won't be brought to your knees and have to shake and rattle a tree for more money. I mean, it seems like a lot when you first buy it, but I've used it for a water pump this spring, and just today, an oil pressure sensor. So again, I paid one chunk, but now I'm not paying ever again that huge chunk again. I'm making a savings along the road. Can this be applied to these contracts you're looking at? So you don't get blindsided from the rear, or anything you do in the future. Add a slight cost, but buy a guarantee, a work guarantee, a product guarantee, I don't know what you want to call it in the business world. So, I mean, that's just a thought I had, because it worked for me. I mean, I'm not scratching trying to find the money right around Christmas time. Another thing is, all I keep hearing is, well, if they were here, we could ask them. If they were here. You go to everybody else's meetings. How come they won't come to your sandbox and play? It should be mandatory that everybody should be, not just you as a representative, but somebody from the police commission be able to hear and just answer questions. Like you had a question about the car being turned in. You don't have an answer tonight. It's got to be researched. And it just recreates more work for this gentleman here and his crew. Whereas if you had somebody from the police commission sitting here, they might be able to say, hey, yeah, that's right, that's what we do. Board of Ed, just every department you're trying to make decisions for, you're making them blind because they're not required to be here. You're required to be here, they're not required to be here. And I think it's a bad way to run things, because you have one alternate member that always sits over here. His name is tabled. He's always tabled. He's always at every meeting. You give him lots of work, he's tabled. You know, and it shouldn't be that way. You should be moving forward faster with the help of all the committees and commissions you represent. And I think that's a weak link you got to look into. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, executive session. Connecticut General Statute 1-200.
Motion.
I move,
FA, discussion concerning appointment of employment of Potato and Corn Festival Coordinator.
I move that we go into
Randy.
executive session.
Second.
Do you want to invite Lauren, if she's available? She's still here?
Lauren
Join us?
Anthony.
Lauren, can you join us as well?
To include Anthony Esposito and Lauren Monroe.
Second.
I'll take care of it.
Thanks, Fran. Get to work.
Roll call.
Just all in favor?
Take care of that fence.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Okay.